This is Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we go to Spain. We are racing at the famous Circuit Barcelona, Catalunya. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. And what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Unleashed, where we go beyond the pinnacle here in 2023. You're here for the Racer League, and the great big boys of the Racing Unleashed simulators will be out on the track this afternoon for you. I'm Mathew Duffin, and joining me later on will be Fabio Vettiger in the Rush Hour programme. Catalunya is the destination for today's circuit, for today's track, and it is going to be a fantastic, absolute brilliant race. We saw yesterday some fantastic overtakes, brilliant manoeuvres and great defensive drives up and down the field. A very interesting knockout and a very interesting race with race results that was classified towards the end of the night and a few changes made to that list. It was very, very interesting. And you can see there, the top three of Yannick Pletcher, Marcus Valverde and Augustin Torlacci we knew was confirmed. The biggest gainer out of yesterday was that of Nico Farland, up to P4 by the end of the evening. It was a fantastic result for him. It really damaged limitations for P6, but promoted to P4 at the end of the night. Borges Arzo, the one to watch, finished in P5. Michael Fry demoted down to P6 from that fourth place, picking up a penalty. Mohamed Ramsey stayed in seventh, with Mario Stanek, Roberto Miguez and Joshua Hader all picking up penalties to the name. And the penalties kept on coming in. Robin Doney, Timothy Spearson and Adrian Gomez, 11th, 12th and 13th, all penalties to their name. Walter Troninger come from the back to P14. Andreas Koch in P15. He got a penalty, as well as Rivoli and Gianluca Palmisano, 16th, 17th, two drivers without a penalty. Fabio Schlegel, Michael Waversick and Federico Chiarenza all picking up penalties at the end of the night as well. And it was a bit, what we thought was quite a quiet night for race control, and the stewards upstairs turned out to be quite a busy evening for them. They was the guys that made these decisions and ultimately made Nico Farland P4 and made him probably a little happier than what he was yesterday. It wasn't his day to be. But what day is it for today? Well, the Racer League drivers will be in the RU23, the beast that you see on your screen right now, the challenger for this year's circuit. We know that drivers have had to adapt from last year's car to this year's car, and it is now going to be a fantastic challenger around this Catalunya circuit. Following in the dirty air in this RU23 hasn't been easy all season, and there is none more so trickier than the Catalunya circuit with its long sweeping corners. It is going to be a very, very difficult race for these drivers. We saw yesterday cars twitching, sliding all over the place in the dirty air. What can the big boys of Racing Unleashed do today? That is going to be the biggest question. We are on a bit of a shorter grid. We are missing 4 drivers. A few are out with an illness, but one driver in particular we want to say a massive congratulations to. That is Mark Gasner, who last night got to celebrate with his wife, the son of his baby boy Oscar. So a massive congratulations to Mark Gasner and the family on the birth of your baby boy. The Gear Up session is well underway. There's 16 minutes left of the session, and for the 17 drivers that are taken to the track this afternoon, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic, thrilling and epic fight. 4 drivers in particular from Madrid, and it's going to be Alejandro Sanchez, the man who currently sits second in the championship, the one who is going to want to win on home soil for the Spanish Lounge. We saw that Madrid in their new racing lounge yesterday took 2 podiums. Can they replicate that today? But his job has been made even harder today by the return of Ciro Zambra is back in the cockpit. And there you can see our lounge and Ciro Zambra in Kemptol, thanks to our live camera crew there in Zurich. So Ciro Zambra back on the grid, and he's a very, very fast driver and one that can take points away from you in your championship. He's missed the last couple of rounds with holidays and being at the Formula One, and we now get to see what he can do. One-time race winner this season, Christoph Holstein, will be looking to bounce back and regain some of his earlier form that he had at the beginning part of the season. And that man there, what a happy man he was yesterday. Yannick Pletcher, race winner yesterday, and he's still got a big smile on his face. He's there cheering on, as is Tiziano Caponio, a Racing Unleashed driver from last season. He's here to cheer on Ciro Zambra as well. It's going to be fantastic to see. And they're chatting with Noah, our Racing Unleashed colleague, in the lounge in Kemptol in Zurich. If you are around the Kemptol area, in the Motorworld, around the Motorworld building, go and check it out. It's a great atmosphere in the Racing Lounge as always as well. If you're in Madrid or Munich, go and check them guys out as well. There is our lovely new home of Madrid. You see Alejandro Sanchez closest to the screen there. And it looks a good atmosphere in the Madrid lounge already. You're seeing that the drivers really preparing for their races and in their gear-up session are trying to master every part of the circuit that they have and get that last bit of practice in that they need. As they had a great result yesterday with Agustin Torlacci and Marcus Valverde on the podium in their first time in their new lounge. Can they replicate that today? Again, Alejandro Sanchez will want to come back to winning ways, want to come back to getting on the podium and finishing ahead of the man who will be sitting in this racing lounge, our Munich lounge. The camera pointing down the lovely stretch of the Munich racing lounge, and Michael Schmiedl in that one is going to be a man to watch there because he is absolutely on fire. He isn't the man to watch. We'll get into that a little later. That is somebody in the Munich lounge. But Michael Schmiedl, championship leader, 2 race wins to his name this season. It is fantastic. It has been a while, though. It's been a good 2 months since the last race. Let's remind you what happened. It's a very long hold, but it is now green and go at the start of race 6 here at Monza for the Racer League. And it's a good start from Dominic Dedic, who already immediately comes across to cover off Kevin Abey down to turn 1. Inside line, everybody, little bump on the back of Dedic here. He had a wiggle through 1 into 2, and everybody is through nice and cleanly. A bit of contact in the background, nothing too major. Everybody is through. That's a good start from the Racer League drivers here. And Sanchez 3 wide, backs out of that contact made. That was Sinan to Mirbas. And Asnar on the outside goes around the outside of Abey. Yes, he does. Oh, big wiggle through the middle of Ascari chicane there. Now here comes Sanchez and Loro to attack the back of Kevin Abey. Sanchez is on the grass as he's getting past all of them. Outside of Parabolica, don't mind if I do, he says. And all of a sudden, he's gained at least 2 or 3 places there. He's gone from 5th to 3rd. Loro, Asnar, Abey ticked off his list as here comes Asnar using push to pass once again. He's only got 1 activation left. He's going to go around the outside of Sanchez. Last of the late breakers. Asnar, well, he's not giving Sanchez a lot of room on the apex here and pushes Sanchez wide. And all that work Sanchez has just done, he's now being swamped by everybody. Asnar, Mikel, Loro, Marignon all come back through. And Sanchez has gone from 3rd to 7th like the flick of a switch. Javier Loro's going to look up the inside into the 2nd chicane, but he can't because Mikel's here. Mikel has to go wide because Loro was coming through. Sanchez is going to have to yield that place. He was pushed wide though, so maybe he'll be able to keep hold of that one. But Schmiedl's got through before Ascari. Dedic's going to keep the nose on the inside. They just tap a little bit. Schmiedl has to go off. He's had a big wiggle through Ascari. Dedic tap again. Now he has to run a momentum. Schmiedl's got no push to pass. Dedic is coming back at him on the inside to the Parabolica. Who's going to break the latest here? It's Schmiedl. Gives Dedic room. But you want to get that outside run. A bit of oversteer there for Dedic as he just drifts wide. And now Dedic in the slipstream of Schmiedl without push to pass. He's going to get that job back done. Does he come across to cover Schmiedl off? No, because Schmiedl's coming back at him. He did it in knockout. He's done it in the race. Dominic Dedic parking on the apex. That is brilliant. Schmiedl now to the outside of the 2nd chicane. They just tap wheels again. Schmiedl's off. Schmiedl's off and Sanchez has come through. Sanchez has used that final lap of push to pass. Here comes Alejandro Sanchez. Pulls out now. Gets the move done on Dominic Dedic. The Croatian of Dominic Dedic uses a push to pass. He's going to try and come back at Sanchez.
He's going to pull to the inside line for the second chicane, and he can move back across and get his braking zone absolutely bang on. Smeedle does his best lap of a 19.7. Sanchez is going to go to the outside line. We know that Dedic likes to brake late into turn one. That, though, is a great move from Sanchez around the outside. Smeedle's now right back into play. Dedic straight back on the push to pass. He's going to try and look around the outside of the Curva Grande on Alejandro Sanchez. And tactics from Dominic Dedic here. You use the slipstream. I'll push to pass right back against you. And they go side by side, just bumping. Smeedle's now involved in this. Here comes Smeedle. Sanchez and Dedic just touch a little bit. And Smeedle's now right back in this fight. What do you try and do? He's trying to stick in the slipstream of Sanchez. Smeedle's trying to get the slipstream of Dedic. Dedic pulls into the middle. They're nearly three wide going into turn one. Smeedle did this in the knockout session. Can he do it again now? He's got around the outside, inside of Sanchez. There's Marinon. He's come to fight as well. They're all together. And Smeedle manages to hang on to P3. But he gets a great run. He pulls to the inside of the parabolic, and now Dedic won't mind that one bit. He's going to try and hang it around the outside. Is Dominic Dedic on Alejandro Sanchez. They're still side by side coming down towards turn one. Smeedle's going to be getting a double slipstream pretty much here. Massive hole being punched in the air. Dedic to the outside. He did it in knockout. He's done it in the race. Smeedle just sort of jinking left and right there. And Dedic to the outside of Sanchez. Job done. Smeedle's going to capitalise. No, he doesn't. Sanchez just gets the run he needed out of the corner. Dedic now uses push to pass. He's got one left. Look at the sweat on the nose and forehead of Dominic Dedic. He is working so incredibly hard here. So at the minute, Sanchez could leave Monza leading this championship if the result stays this way. He's gone around the outside of a score. He's got it done on Dedic. He leads this race. Alejandro Sanchez, Dominic's off. Smeedle's through. Look at the train. Here comes Dedic. He's past Smeedle. He's on the inside of Sanchez. They touch. Marignon gets the job done on Smeedle. Sanchez has to take to the chicane. Dedic is going to come back through. Marignon's gone past Smeedle. Marignon might now just be able to get past Sanchez. He's going to hang it up the inside of the Curva Grande towards the second chicane. Marignon and Sanchez still side by side. Sanchez looks on Dedic but can't get the job done. Dedic now, no more push to pass. Smeedle's going to capitalise on a good run through chicane number 2, and he's back on the podium. You cannot take your eyes off this. You can't blink for a moment because you're going to miss something. Michael Smeedle, wiggle on the grass. Back air to Sebastian Hirsch, great fight. Mikel now, push to pass activated. Thank you, Sebastian. As Sanchez leads this race on the timing screens, he's gone around the outside of the second chicane. Smeedle's now going to capitalise on Dedic. Smeedle now moves into P2. Here comes Marignon on Dedic. Can't get it done at the Lesmo. It's Sanchez from Smeedle from Dominic Dedic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Asnar there makes it 8. And here comes Florian Horsa. Hirsch is all of a sudden down to 8th, and Horsa around the outside. Is he going to get Marignon? He does. Is he going to get Mikel? He does. And Florian Horsa, who saved all his push to pass to the final moment. Marignon and Asnar have a bit of contact there. Do not discount Florian Horsa. He's got one usage left. He's within 9/10 of a second. Here comes Hirsch. Back through to P6. Here comes Asnar back through as well. Oh, Hirsch has tapped Mikel. Hirsch has tapped Mikel. Managed to all get away with that pretty comfortably. Hands on heads. Oh, Marignon's off! He's been tapped by Asnar at the first Lesmo, he's gone! Here comes David Seed. One use left, doesn't need it, he's past Alvaro Asnar. Alejandro Sanchez is going to be P1 on the road.
So we could be finally having a final result.
We have the podium.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Wow! Hold on to your hats, folks, because it is a Munich 1, 2, 3. He's P3 in the race. Angelo Mikel will step up onto the podium and will take P3. Great scenes then in Munich today. Here comes Florian Horsa. What a strategy from this young man. P2 for him today. And now we await for Michael Smeedle, who is going to be a 2-time race winner this season. The defending champion pulls a gap in the standings at the moment with 4 races left. Michael Smeedle, your race winner.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
What a race. What action, what drama, the thrills and spills of Monza. Monza never, ever seems to disappoint. If you did miss that last race, well, I hope them highlights was a little bit of enough to whet your appetite for what's coming this afternoon. What drama, though, at the Monza race. And Race Control had a very busy weekend, not just in the Challenger League, but in the Race League also. We was waiting for quite some time for that final podium decision to be brought to us, purely because the gaps between the top 8 and 9 cars was so vastly close to each other. It was very tight and compact that every time penalty for every single driver in that race kept rearranging the order, and every time somebody got demoted, they'd be re-promoted due to other people getting penalties. And as you saw there, Alejandro Sanchez crossed the line for P1, but was demoted down the order. Can't exactly remember where he finished off the top of my head, but it gave them Munich that 1-2-3. It gave Michael Schmiedl his second win of the season. Gave Florian Horser, who had a fantastic strategy, by the way, and Angelo Michel the podium. As we are on with Florian Horser now, as there is 5 minutes left of our gear up session. He's actually just put in his first flying lap time that is valid, and he's just got into P5 on the list. But what a drive for this young man. The strategy that he pulled out. We're going to take a look at a short film about the strategy and the race from Florian Horser. Here comes Florian Horser. What a strategy from this young man. P2 for him today.
Especially on a track like Monza, it's super easy to pass people with push to pass. So I decided in the beginning to wait and just don't get involved in any incidents. So I'm clear of any penalties.
Well, Florian Horser goes with him, but I think Florian Horser is going to try and attack around the outside of Pellegrini into turn 1. Can't get it done there though. Difficult to overtake towards the start, all important for drivers. Defends that inside line, he compromises his run into turn 3. Does Florian Horser there, who's a little wide. We saw a car just touch a bit of gravel as he comes through. Javier Loro's dropped from 10th to 8th at the start of this race.
It's super hard because honestly, like, I was not able to show my real performance before, because I knew if I go flat out, I will be involved with the other guys. So it was very hard to say to yourself, okay, you have to drive a bit slower than you can, and you just have to wait until the last couple of laps where anyone else is out of push to pass already, so I can capitalize on that. I've been part of DER since almost 3 years now. I've been participating especially in all the race room esports events. I won the Group championship, and then also participated in the DTM esports series. I wasn't winning all of them, but I always had a good position in the end.
Did Florian Horser hang on to P3? Believe he did. Yes, he did. Here he comes onto that third step of the podium, and he'll receive his winner's medal, his third place medal. Wojciech Pellegrini as well, dusting off the first place step. Florian Horser P3 for him today.
There's always the chance to get on the podium because of the shootout where basically anything can happen. But the next 3 races will be a bit difficult for me, I guess, but I will have an eye on the last rounds where nobody can really practice before because we don't know the track. That's basically the race where I can show that I'm able to do good things.
Here comes Florian Horser. What a strategy from this young man. P2 for him today.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And what a strategy it was. He said there in his interview that he left all his push to pass till the very, very end. And boy, did it work. He had great natural pace to keep with the pack early doors in the race, and then really capitalised as everybody else used their push to pass towards the middle part of the race. He saved all of his and used his in the back half, and it really, really worked for Florian Horser. It had taken him from outside the top 8 at the time all the way up to P2 in the race, and that's really had a big effect in his championship, because even though there are drivers missing today, he will be going in the knockout qualifying from P14 on the grid. He's had a fantastic race, and as you saw there in that little clip as well, a P3 in Mugello, so 2 podiums for Florian Horser this season. Absolutely fantastic to see. This man, though, Michael Schmiedl, currently the second fastest out there with 1.5 minutes remaining in the gear-up session. The first double race winner of the season after last time out. 2 race wins to his name this year, and he really struggled at the early parts of this season, getting used to the car and adapting to the car. But let's have a closer look and a reminder of the championship leader.
And Smeedle's now right back in this fight. What do you try and do? He's trying to stick in the slipstream of Sanchez. Smeedle's trying to get the slipstream of Dedic. Dedic pulls into the middle. They're nearly 3 wide going into turn 1. Smeedle did this in the knockout session. Can he do it again now? He's got around the outside, inside of Sanchez. There's Marinon. He's come to fight as well. They're all together. And Smeedle manages to hang on to P3. And now we await for Michael Smeedle, who is going to be a 2-time race winner this season. The defending champion pulls a gap in the standings at the moment with 4 races left. Michael Smeedle, your race winner.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Your race winner last time out, your defending champion at the moment, and your current championship leader for this season. And the prize money that he is playing for is this one just over my right shoulder. $3,500 he is playing for today. A fantastic pot of money that he could be taking home with him. Second place, $2,500. Third place, $1,500. So good money on offer for a podium, really. And it goes down to $200 if you get inside that top 10. The big one, though, and this is the one we all have to start paying attention to now, if you're the drivers, is that one for the season. $1,500 in your pocket if you win the championship. Michael Smeedle is in that current top position at the moment. It is $9,000 for P2, $6,000 for P3, all the way down to $750 for a top 10 finish. Alejandro Sanchez, who has led this champion for quite a lot this season until recently, has now slipped to second place. And Michael Smeedle will be wanting to take that prize money home and become a back-to-back Racing Unleashed champion here. Angelo Mikel is the man on screen, and it is all about Munich because Angelo Mikel is our man to watch.
We're only on lap 3 of this race, but Mikel now, race winner 1 time this season, currently sitting P6. Dedic out front, not used a push to pass. Aby's used 2. He's P3 in the race. Angelo Mikel will step up onto the podium and will take P3. Great scenes in Munich today.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
He is the one to watch, and, well, rightly so, because he's been in a good bit of form. He's a 1-time race winner this season. He finished on the podium last time out, and in knockout qualifying, he's going to have to come from P15 on the grid. That is due to championship standings. In terms of the knockout qualifying then, the graphic here shows you what the knockout qualifying is and explains to you, if you are new to Racing Unleashed and new to this format, what the session is. So the first lap will be a safety car lap. It will be a warm-up lap. No overtaking is allowed. You all have to follow the safety car around. The safety car peels into the pits at the end of lap 1. Laps 2, 3 and 4 are guarded laps here at Catalonia. 3 guarded laps today, which means racing is allowed, overtaking everything. Get as many places as you can in the bank, because at the end of lap 5, the all-important, crucial lap 5, we lose 1 driver. After that, we get to the end of lap 6, we lose 2 drivers. And it is 2 drivers every lap from the end of lap 6 onwards. We only lose 1 driver at the end of lap 5 due to there being 17 drivers on the grid. And we go until we set our pole sitter. And let me tell you, yesterday we saw Yannick Pletcher have such a patient drive in that knockout session. Are these championship rivals going to do the same today? Here, though, is your current... this is the race result, from last time out in Monza. Smeedle, Haase and Angelo Mikel, your top 3. Sebastian Hirsch, 4th. It was a Munich 1, 2, 3, 4. Alejandro Sanchez from 1st to 5th. Dominic Dedic finished 6th overall. Sinan de Murbas in 7th place with David Seed, Javier Loro and Enrique Marinon rounding out the top 10. Kevin Aby, Alvaro Aznar, David Ladamada and Wojciech Polezny in P14 outside the points, and everybody else there did not start. The standings in the Racer League, though, look a little like this. And this reads very interesting and very good if you're Michael Smeedle, because look at that gap. 17-point gap over Alejandro Sanchez at the business end of the season. That is exactly where you need to be. Alejandro Sanchez has to look over his shoulder because he's only 19 points ahead of Angelo Mikel, the man to watch. Florian Horser propelled himself into P4 ahead of Sebastian Hirsch, who climbed up the table. Very tight in that bottom half of the field, with Enrique Marin on P6, Wojciech Plesny down to 7th, Holstein, Seed and Ciro Zambra rounding out the top 10 and the final 10 for that season-long prize money that the drivers compete for. The bottom half of the standings is Alvaro Aznar, Mark Gasner, Sinan Demirbas, Loris Mistretta, Javier Loro, Dominic Dedic and Devin Iskro on points. Any other drivers named not on that list haven't scored a point this season. So that is your current championship standings. And it really reads well if you're Michael Smeedle. The penalty roster, though. Alvaro Aznar is on a knockout qualifying ban. He's not here this week, which means he will have to serve his knockout ban at Spa in 2-3 weeks' time. Mark Gasner not here this week. He's close to a ban. Wojciech Plesny, he's had a KO ban. He's 5 points away from that weekend ban. Jan Tufan is on 10 points. Angelo Mikel, Dominic Dedic on 8 apiece. Kevin Aby, Christoph Holstein and Devin Iskro all on 5. Kevin Aby and Devin Iskro have already served a knockout ban as well. So, you know, need a good clean qualifying, need a good clean race to make sure you're not near that weekend ban. Javier Loro, Loris Mistretta and Alejandro Sanchez all on 5 points apiece. Michael Smeedle on 4, Sinan Demirbas and Ciro Zambra on 2. And Ciro Zambra has already served a KO ban. It's great to have Ciro back on the grid. And with only 2 points to his name, should pretty much be okay really for the rest of the season, you'd imagine. But anything can happen here at Racing Unleashed. And Sinan Demirbas, a very quick driver, he's going to want to get through the grid. He starts the knockout today, P8. So he's got a tricky task sort of in that midfield to come through the pack and get his best grid spot as he possibly can for the race coming up in a couple of hours' time. It's been a fantastic weekend here at Catalonia. It's been absolutely beautiful to see these cars out on this track. And don't forget, it is the MotoGP, the Formula One layout for this season, if you will, which means that last sector is completely different. There is no chicane to go through. It is the right-hand down towards the final corner. And obviously as well, this year compared to last year, we've got the hairpin has changed on the back straight as well to the modern layout of Catalonia, which means that we are all looking forward to the race. And if you want to see or hear a bit more about the tracks, let's listen to Mr. JWW to talk us through it.
All right, welcome to the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, Spain. And this is a beautiful blend of high-speed corners, high-speed braking points, and it's going to test the balance and endurance of these drivers. The circuit is just over 4 kilometers in length, and it's going to be a fascinating one. This is one of the drivers' favorites, namely because they spend a lot of time in real F1 testing on the circuit. These guys have also put a lot of seat time in on the run-up to this race, so keep a close eye out. It's going to be a really tight battle. We're well into the season at this point, and things are getting really spicy.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
Well into the season indeed, and things are, after Monza, very, very spicy. So, Munich, 1, 2, 3, 4 last time out, should I say. Can they repeat that and go again and get some more podiums? And let's not forget, for those of you who have followed the championship the whole way through this season, Munich didn't have the best of starts to their championship in their season. Struggled to get on the podium, struggled to get that first race win, and really did not sort of deliver what we expected from Munich. In recent races, the last 3 or 4 races, Munich have been unstoppable. There is our live camera crew in Kemptol. Loris Mistretta there and Devin Iskro all ready to go. And they're all looking to, prepare for their knockout session. I believe they're sat in the cockpits ready for the knockout session. There's Dominic Dedic, was involved in quite a lot last time out at Monza. He took pole position in the knockout. He'll be looking to go again and maybe put it on pole here at Catalunya, a track that's a little harder to overtake on than Monza. And the long start straight we know will be the biggest one for the push to pass to be in effect. And everybody now just awaiting the safety car to move. They're all focusing on what they've got to do. Obviously the Ferrari 488 Challenge safety car, the Racing Unleashed liveried safety car, has just pulled them off the line, and they are now heading out on their way for the knockout qualifying session. And there is the Racing Unleashed Ferrari Challenge safety car. Beautiful looking car that one is. And followed by our 17 Racing Unleashed challengers for this afternoon. And who is going to be the one to do the business? That's going to be the biggest question on everybody's faces, I reckon. Who can get this job done at the very end? It's going to be crucial to see who can do what. You have to get the tyres and brakes prepared and in a good window for this session. Coming towards the middle sector now. So the grid order then for this knockout session. Jan Duffin will be taking them from pole. Ivan Kaufman then will be in second place. Kevin Aby will be P3. Dominic Dedic P4. Javier Loro will be P5. Loris Mistretta P6. Excuse me. Sinan Demirbaş P7. Ciro Zambra P8. David Seed will be P9. Christoph Holstein P10. Wojciech Polezny will go from 11th. With Enrique Marin on 12th. Sebastian Hirsch 13th. Florian Horse at 14th, the man to watch, Angelo Michel, P15, Alejandro Sanchez in 16th place, and Michael Schmiedel, championship leader and previous race winner, will be P17. And look at who the safety car driver is. It is none other than Challenger League winner yesterday, Yannick Pletcher, our Challenger League championship leader, is driving the safety car. Nice and steady, Yannick. We don't want no thrills and spills from the Ferrari today. As he comes through, he's had the honour now of driving the safety car. And Jan Duffin backs the pack up. Yannick pulls into the pit lane. Job done, Yannick. Thank you very much. Tuffin's already gone, though, through the final corner, and he now starts to pull the gap over Kevin Aby then and Ivan Kaufman as they come down the start straight. It is Jan Duffin who has pulled a bit of a gap already, and it is a lot of Kemptol cars at the top order of this list. Javier Loro P5 in the minute, just behind Dominic Dedic has Loris Mistretta having a look up the inside. Kevin Aby has got past Kaufman already as well, so good move from Kevin Aby early doors. Ciro Zambra has cleared Sinan Demirbaş, and Ciro, like we said, he's missed the last couple of races. He's back today, and he's back to take some race win and maybe some good championship points for him this season. On the back now of Kemptol fellow driver Loris Mistretta as Ciro looks up the inside. Loris Mistretta has a little move there as well, and Sinan Demirbaş capitalises on a lock-up from Ciro but cannot get it completed. Ciro hangs on to P7 already at the moment, so 3 guarded laps. The drivers have plenty of time to make up places before that dreaded elimination lap start. P7, Ciro Zambra, we are on board with just behind Loris Mistretta. There's a few cars in the background looking to make moves, and that is one of them. I don't know if he was forced wide or had a moment, went deep in the corner. It is Florian Horse, who has dropped down to P17. So Horse for him, he's down to 17th place. Michael Schmiedel now up to 16th. He's right behind Alejandro Sanchez. Here is Horse. Not lost too much time, he's still on the back of Schmiedel, and he knows he's got time to make up as cars there look in front. Looking side by side in towards turn 1. One of them is Alejandro Sanchez. He's got past Angelo Michel. Schmiedel then, currently P16 at the moment. He's watched Alejandro Sanchez make up a place. He'll want to get past Angelo Michel as well. Obviously Michel, the one to watch today. A very quiet, steady, cautious, maybe, start to this knockout session. Ciro Zambra through the middle sector, right on the back of Loris Mistretta, and is right on the back of, has Sinan Demirbaş right on the back of him as they come through what was the old hairpin, now a bit more of a sweeping corner to the left. Into the final sector they go. Wojciech Polezny P11 at the minute. It's all rather patient and quiet. The madness hasn't started yet. It's the end of lap 5 before we start to lose drivers. Jan Duffin, the fastest lap of the race. Everybody in the 1 minute 15s, apart from Jan Duffin, who is 1:14. There is Nico Farland in the background. He'll be delighted, I'm sure, to be promoted to P4. Here comes Schmiedel up the inside over Angelo Michel. Great move there from Schmiedel. Up into P15 he goes, Angelo Michel. down to 16th place. A big queue all behind Kevin Avey at the moment, by the way. Jan Teufel has left the pack at the minute. He's 1.2 clear. And that is Loris Mistretta, I believe. We've just seen at the side of the road. It's all getting a little congested now. Here we go. Things start to heat up before the elimination laps. So Loris Mistretta tumbles down the standings. Here is David Seed, who's up to 7th place at the moment. And what has happened to Ciro Zambra as well? He's dropped down to 11th place. So did him and Mistretta have a coming together? Well, that has created quite the gap between Sinan Demirbaş and Javier Loro. 1.9 seconds is that gap. Sebastian Hirsch, P4 last time out. We'll be looking for another good result. Currently 12th place at the moment. And now things start to get a little heated and a little hot and bothered, because lap 5 and it's elimination time. We lose the bottom driver this lap, which is currently Florian Horser, who's 2.3 off the back of the pack. So as he had another moment, Sanchez looks for the slipstream of Hirsch, comes back across the racing line, well entitled to do so. Schmiedl is nowhere near to make the move. Hirsch is going side by side with Ciro Zambra. Zambra in the red car, Hirsch in the orange car, and Ciro Zambra gets back through. Sanchez may want a piece of this action as well. He's not going to think about it at the moment. He patiently waits for Hirsch to make a little mistake. He hasn't got to push too hard at the moment. He's not in that elimination zone. Hard on the brakes. You see the tension of the seatbelts pull on his torso there as he heavily brakes down into turn 5. He's got Schmiedl right behind him, and the fan blowing on him today. A few more fans back out in Madrid today, so it must be warmer there. Alejandro Sanchez currently second in the championship. He's going to want to take some points away from Michael Schmiedl, so needs to finish in front of him. Into the left-hander we go. A longer corner now compared to what it used to be. Obviously, kind of joins the hairpin and the little left-hander just after together, really. It makes it one big left-hand bend. And there is Jan Teufel. Down the start straight, 8/10 of a second clear of Kevin Avey. Fantastic job from him at the minute, really. Nice calm. Not made a mistake at the moment. Florian Horser, though, he is the man who is eliminated first of all from qualifying, so he's got to go with the tactics again today. P17 as he crosses the line for Florian Horser, and yeah, he's the one who's got to now think of his tactics in the race. We now are looking at the bottom 2 drivers. It's the end of lap 6. We start to lose 2 drivers, Angelo Miquel and Loris Mistretta. So for Schmiedl and Sanchez, might want to start to get a move on here, because excuse me, at the end of the next lap it will be Sanchez and Schmiedl that we will lose. Currently, though, we're about to lose Angelo Miquel and Loris Mistretta. They need to get a wiggle on here. And it is all rather quiet out there at the moment in time. Very, very good, clean driving to see. But nobody really close enough to make any overtakes here. Nobody really close enough to do anything. Obviously, there is no push to pass in knockout, so the drivers cannot use it until the race. So it is about pure speed and consistency in these cars. We come, though, to the end of lap 16. Oh, bit of drama happening now, but we are going to lose Angelo Miquel, who, the man to watch, will be going from P15 on the grid, and Loris Mistretta will be going from P16 provisionally as well. Doesn't look overly happy with that one. Enrique Marinon's P10, and we said that Alejandro Sanchez and Schmiedl's got to make some moves. Well, Ciro Zambra has tumbled down the standings with Sebastian Hirsch, and Sanchez has got past both of them. So he's now up to 11th. Schmiedl is now the one who needs to get past Hirsch and Ciro Zambra. For Sanchez, he lives to fight another day, but has to close that gap, which is pretty big at the minute, 1.5 seconds, because the next lap he's back in that danger zone again. Schmiedl is currently in the danger zone. He's a very patient driver, is Schmiedl. We see in knockouts every weekend how patient Schmiedl is, and really turns up the notches in his pace and aggression and racecraft that we see in the race, because he holds nothing out there come later on. And Schmiedl, once again, just being that patient driver. Not close enough for Eli Ciro Zambra on his return to the cockpit. Probably not the result he would have wanted. 13th place it is going to be for Ciro. And Michael Schmiedl, P14 in that knockout session. Just couldn't make the places up, and it's really been a point that Sanchez did the fastest lap last time around. That's brought him back to within a second of Enrique Marinon. The problem is for Alejandro Sanchez is he's the one who's now on that cusp of being eliminated with Sebastian Hirsch. So Hirsch, Sanchez at risk. Sanchez's gap is closing to Marignon, but it's not closing quick enough. Here's Ivan Kaufman then. And you see out front, Kevin Aby's brought the gap down to 0.3 to Jan Teufel. So Teufel now got to look to defend a little bit here and maybe just be a bit wary in his mirrors. He manages to extend his gap through the middle sector a couple of tenths. Sanchez within 0.7 now, but realistically I don't think it's going to be enough unless something has happened here, because Javier Loro, I believe, is off. And is Alejandro Sanchez just brought himself another lap? I think he has. Well, when Lady Luck is on your side, Alejandro Sanchez will live to fight another day. Javier Loro, who's had a moment somewhere, will be a P12 provisionally. And it will be Sebastian Hirsch, who is P11. So for Javier Loro, P12 on the grid. Sanchez now within 0.2 of Enrique Marignon. He's also got past Wojciech Plezny, so now just needs to get past Marignon and he'll live to fight once more. Sanchez, well, what a drive so far. He's not really done anything electrifying. It's just others around him have made the mistakes or been in collisions, and he has just picked up the pieces. And picked up the pieces indeed. He'll be hoping that Marignon has a little mistake somewhere, because he'll want as many places as possible. Javier Loro, you see there in the background, already out the cockpit, debriefing. And here is Sanchez looking on Marignon. Just sees Marignon have a little wiggle, and a big slide there from Marignon. Does this allow Sanchez an opportunity? He's running out of corners to do so, and Marignon at the moment just pushing a little too hard to maybe stay in front of Sanchez. I think it's all going to be done here. Marignon rounds the final corner. Sanchez then will be eliminated, but P9 up from 16th place. He cannot be disgruntled with that. Wojciech Plezny will finish provisionally P10 at the moment as well. So a top 10 start for Wojciech at the moment. And now Marignon and Christoph Holstein are the two to watch. Not really so much of Christoph Holstein today. One-time race winner this season, and is looking to make up a few places. Again, it's just really, everybody seems to be matching everybody at the moment, and nobody seems to have a standout pace to get through the pack. It's Dominik Dedic, previous pole sitter, last time out at Monza. Again, just doesn't seem to have that electrifying pace to pull him towards the front. The front three, by the way, are all Kemptol drivers: Jan Teufel, Kevin Aby and Ivan Kaufman. Teufel then, 6/10. It was ahead of Aby, and that gap has just come down a little bit. So as he had a moment somewhere, it's back down to just under 5/10. And here is Christoph Holstein, who hasn't got the job done on David Seed, and that will be provisionally P7 for Christoph, and Enrique Marignon P8 provisionally at this moment in time. David Seed now looks to defend from Christoph Holstein, and he doesn't really need to, because Holstein has been eliminated. Seed needs to focus on that of Dominik Dedic, who is also going to try and gain on the back of Ciro Zambra. David Seed then, and Sinan Demirbas, can we just say, not Ciro Zambra, is the only two drivers. David Seed from Madrid, Sinan Demirbas from Munich. The other four, all Kemptol drivers at the moment. Seed right on the back of Dominik Dedic. David Seed himself, a race winner this year, the first Racer League race of the season. As Dominik Dedic, little wiggle through the middle sector. David Seed got awfully close there. Runs over the curb. Now, can he do anything? A couple of corners left. It's interesting to see the direct drivers' different lines through that part of the track. David Seed flicks it back to the right. 2 corners left. Another snap there for Dominik Dedic. Keep it together, Dominik. You've got 1 corner left. He comes round it now. It's going to be P5 for Dominik Dedic, and provisionally. And David Seed will go from P6. We now turn to Kaufman and Sinan Demirbas. Demirbas well over a second behind Ivan Kaufman. And Kaufman had Kevin Aby and Jan Teufel right in front of him here. And it looks like it could be a shootout between Kemptol for pole position. There is Kevin Aby. You wouldn't think he's in a serious knockout qualifying session here, would you? You'd just think he's just driving around Catalonia as if it's nobody's business. He looked as calm as you could be. Duffin then just started to come under a little pressure. He locked up a moment ago, and he's now just maybe feeling the heat a little bit. Sinan de Merbas has the gap down to half a second to Kaufman. And Kaufman hasn't really kept up with AB or Duffin. You get to this part of the lap though, and this is kind of where you know nothing's going to happen unless there's a mistake. Because it's a little too tight here and not really overtaking part of the circuit that you'd expect. Sinan de Merbas though, round to the final corner now. Little wiggle through there. He'll go from P4, good qualifying from him. Kaufman will go from P3 provisionally. And the top two now, Kevin Aby versus Jan Duffin in this final lap of knockout. This will determine the grid. AB's a little too far back at the moment. He needs to be within a couple of tenths before they get that back straight, and he's just losing time here. Is he settling for P2 on the track? Gains under the brakes a little bit. Gains a couple of tenths actually under the brakes. He wants to be a little closer through this next part of the lap, because if Duffin makes any little wiggle and the door opens, Kevin Aby is going to want to capitalise. He gets a good run there, takes another tenth out of Duffin, and still taking a little couple of hundredths here and there out of him. But I think it is too little too late. And again, bar a mistake from Jan Duffin, it should be provisional pole position. Kevin Aby into the right hander now. Oh, bit of a snap there. He manages to keep it together, and that will be that. Jan Duffin round to the final corner. He held it all together. He is going to take pole position provisionally in the Racer League here for Catalonia. It was a light to flag victory for him in this knockout session. Kevin Aby, P2, good session for him. But Jan Duffin then, the man who is provisionally pole position. What a fantastic, fantastic drive for him there, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Saw nothing wrong with that. Like yesterday, it should be pretty much clear that he will be P1. So it is 2 Kemptol pole positions this weekend for Racing Unleashed, and they'll be absolutely thrilled with that one. The problem now is, or the question now is, can he replicate that in the race? Push to pass will come in the race, and this will be the biggest decision of when he uses it. Where does he use it as well? We know that start straight is very, very long, and is the ideal place here. Bit of a fist pump there from him in the cockpit as we see that he is a happy, happy man, and really did enjoy that one. Cool and calm. Kevin Aby put him under some pressure at the end of that knockout session, but didn't really give him too much to think about, didn't attack him too much. And we saw throughout the whole knockout session, it was really down to drivers involved in incidents or making their own mistakes where they lost positions. The pace from everybody seemed pretty similar, and this is what's going to separate people today is can they get through that pack? We saw with Smeedle there, no mistakes, didn't put a foot wrong, just couldn't get through the pack. And yeah, sometimes you need the rub of the green. Alejandro Sanchez had that. He had Lady Luck on his side in terms of getting up to P9 provisionally, and is a good 5 spots ahead of Smeedle. So really, really now in a good position to pull some points back, hopefully, in his championship season, and I want to close that 17-point gap to Smeedle to bring it down as close as he can to Spa, where, if you remember Spa last year, Sanchez and Smeedle had a fantastic battle, and that's where Smeedle won his championship. So he will not want Smeedle to gain points over him today. There is Dominic Dedic, congratulating him, as is Kaufman and everybody else as well, giving him a high five and congratulating Jan Duffin there. And what a session for him. He is in his cockpit, and we'll be able to speak with him momentarily. He was a very, very good knockout qualifying for him. He didn't put a foot wrong at all. Fantastic lights to flag victory, and I believe we can hear from Jan Duffin now. Jan, very good knockout session.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it felt good. I was cautious. I thought beforehand about what I was going to do at the start, and it worked out for me. I managed to pull out the gap in front and just, keep a consistent pace, not take any risks, and worked out for me.
Kevin seemed to get close to you at times, but didn't really put you under too much pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I felt that he was coming up to me, and then I knew I had to pick up my pace as well a bit. But yeah, he never really came that close that it really felt like a danger. But yeah, I could maybe a little bit feel his breath down my neck.
Did that make it a little easier for you to stay consistent and keep your composure?
Yeah, it helped. When you see other drivers on the track, it helps you to like really get yourself together and concentrate again, and knowing that you're actually in a race and not just in a training session. I don't know, it's the first time for me driving in front, and yeah, it's a weird experience, but a good one.
A good one indeed. The race coming up a little later on. I'm sure you'd like to be on the top step of the podium.
Well, of course I would like to be on the podium, but yeah, just first, like step after step, first have like a clean start, try to hold my position in the front. That's where I have my training now. That's where I'm comfortable. So, yeah, that would be the goal.
Congratulations on the pole position. We will still await confirmation on that, but at the moment, P1 provisionally for Jan Teufel there in Kemptol. So back-to-back pole positions at Catalonia so far for Kemptol, and what a session it was there. P1, 2, 3, we have just been told now, is confirmed. So Jan Teufel will go from pole, Kevin Aby will go from P2, and Ivan Kaufman will go from P3. The protest window, though, now is open for 20 minutes for the drivers to get any protests in they feel they need to throughout that knockout qualifying session, as well as whatever race control picked up that they saw from their end. So it's going to be an interesting one now for race control to see what happens. The 1, 2, 3 confirmed. That is pretty much, that is going to be straightforward. There was nothing wrong with that. They was all within a good space. I suppose the big one that the drivers are going to look to put in is we saw Sebastian Hirsch and Ciro Zambra tumble down the standings together. I think we saw Loris Mistretta and Ciro Zambra tumble down the standings together. Was there incidents between them drivers? That'll be what race control will be looking at. Also, the Javier Loro was off at one stage there. I want to see why he was off as well. And that's really all we saw from our end. But obviously, as we say, protests will go in and race control will take a look at every protest that goes in now. Relatively good job, though, from the Racer League drivers. And we are ready to get ready to go racing in a couple of hours' time. But let's now head into our favourite part of the show. It's Rush Hour. Welcome to Rush Hour. Excuse me, where we're joined by Fabio Vettiger. Fabio, good morning.
Good morning.
We well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well.
Good knockout session.
Very good. Actually, quite boring. I have to admit.
Never boring. Never boring.
But good quality driving. Not many incidents. Just talked to race control. So far, 3 or 4 incidents were reported. All of them at the moment are no further action. So yeah, we'll see if we can apply some penalties. But other than that, yeah, just following each other. As we know from Barcelona, it's not an easy track to overtake. Obviously, without push to pass in the knockout, it's a bit harder. So, maybe drivers just settled in, tried to not make any mistakes and wait for the opportunity in the race.
And the big difference today from yesterday is Challenger League drivers, sort of like second division, if you will, here at Racing Unleashed. The top division is today. You saw that class, really. Everybody similar sort of lap times in that knockout session there. And for the likes of Smeedle, crossed the line P14, just couldn't get through the pack.
Yeah, he was stuck, and not only him, also the others.
Yeah.
And, if you were looking at the times in the gear up, actually, you saw that Jan Teufel and, for example, Kevin Aby, they're 1.2, 1.3 seconds off the pace. So they just basically bunched everyone up, and it was just hard to do the overtakes. And Sanchez managed to do it a little better than Smeedle, but it's the race that counts in the end, right? Yeah. We give points in the race, so I think it's going to be a very interesting one.
Well, the push-to-pass element comes into play, and we know the start straight is very, very long. You've also got the second straight sort of in the middle sector where Formula One use their second DRS zone.
Yeah.
It's long enough to use the push-to-pass, but we saw most yesterday on that start straight. Tactics come into play here. Obviously, Florian Horser, back of the grid, he's going to think of tactics again and maybe try and get another second place?
Possibly, but it's going to be difficult because, we only have 2 long straights, and Monza had Plenty more. So yeah, we'll see how it will pan out. Tactics will play a role in that, but at the moment I just see guys basically pushing it on the main straight. But who knows? Maybe there's a surprise attack and they basically teach us wrong.
Do you think that with Catalonia there's going to be a chance to hold it really tight and be able to keep it within, without the push to pass, be able to defend easy from it?
I guess we have to wait and see. I'll think maybe this time round people want to use it quite early on because they don't want to be stuck behind other drivers. Maybe then if you keep it for the end, it will help you out in the end of the race. But we'll see.
We'll see indeed. Let's now go and take a look at our new racing lounge in Madrid and talk to our Racing Unleashed representative there. Christian, hello, good morning to you.
Welcome guys, good morning everybody.
Are we well?
All good, we are some expectation here. We cross the fingers to have a good race.
We do indeed. Now, brand new home for Madrid in your new racing lounge. It's great atmosphere, it looks like, as well.
Yes, always in Spain, you know the people in Spain, they have too much vibration, so we are too happy to be here in the new lounge. So.
Christian, this is Fabio. Once again, well done to your new lounge in Madrid there. Going into the race now, obviously we have some Challenger League drivers there as well. I see Marcos, I see Agustin there. How's the vibe in Madrid? Obviously, yesterday you had 2 podiums. What's the goal for today?
Yeah, this was a very good starting in the new lounge and the new podium. Finally, we have a very good podium, so we are so happy. And we have here the parents, we have here Agustin too and Marcos, and we will see that they are so happy. So I think that for starting the launch, it's best is impossible, I think.
Very well. Thank you for that. Maybe some questions from your end?
The new lounge, obviously, a lot more comfortable. It looks a lot more like you're at home in this lounge compared to the last one.
Yes, of course, we have here too much more luminosity, so I think that we can see each other. And I think that it looks good. In camera, it looks so cool too. So we are so happy to be here in this lounge. We have put a little more decoration and to final the process of this launch, but I think that it's so cool.
We was told that a lot of hard work went in by yourself and your father, the flooring and everything done. Yes. So a lot of hard work from yourself.
Yes, we working too much. Maybe we put this launch in 1 week. The floor we put in 1 day and a half, more or less. The more difficult was the electrical installation and everything of this. But I think that the rest, we are so happy. My father, Elizabeth, helped me a lot. So I think to him too, to my father, to parents, to you, to Racing Unleashed, for trusting us and for able to have this launch.
Great to hear, Christian. Well done once again and congratulations for your launch and your achievements. Last question from me. Will we hear the Spanish anthem today?
Sorry? I don't understand.
Will we hear the Spanish national anthem today?
Oh, yes. Today will be perfect. It will be nice. I put the flag, so no problem.
Okay.
So, Christian, we let you in your racing lounge.
We close the finger.
We'll let you get back to it, Christian. Thank you for talking to us today. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Thank you, too.
Well done.
And that was then Christian and the Madrid colleagues there. And it looks absolutely beautiful in Madrid.
Yeah, they've done a brilliant job there in a short amount of time. Yeah. Obviously, they were under a lot of time pressure. So I'm very happy for them. They are happy, we are happy, and obviously I guess the customers in Madrid will be happy as well.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we forgot to ask him. We forgot to ask him if they've got air conditioning.
Air conditioning, yeah. I saw some fans though, but it looks like there is air conditioning because they weren't sweating at all.
No, not sweating at all today as Madrid then get prepared for their race coming up in a few moments' time. So we've got a little bit of news for you this week, or somebody was on the news on the Swiss TV, I do believe, this week. Ciro Zambra, who we spoke a little bit about yesterday, had an experience a few months ago in a Formula BMW car, now has an even bigger opportunity. He was on Swiss TV talking about an opportunity he's got where he heads to America, I believe, next week.
Yep. Yeah, he basically participated once again in a sim racing competition. He didn't win the race, but he was chosen as a sort of like fan favorite, or a jury was choosing him and invited him to go to America to a week of training. He will drive radical SR3s. He will have communication training, fitness training whatsoever. So Swiss TV was, or basically Zurich TV was so amazed by that story, so they visited him at home.
They did indeed, and media training, that the whole work. So come Spa in 3 weeks' time, we expect a very professional Ciro Zambra trained in the media. Mm-hmm. We expect to see Ciro Zambra do very well. This is his Twitter page, I do believe, where you find all his latest posts. Let's though see the clip from him on Swiss TV.
Zürich News.
Er ist gerade mal 17, fährt aber schon besser als die meisten anderen. Der Ciro Zambra ist ein sogenannter E-Sportler und hat im virtuellen Formel-1-Simulator schon einen Meistertitel und zahlreiche Preise abgestaubt. Trainieren tut er in seinem Kinderzimmer bei seinen Eltern zu Urdorf. Und dank seinem Talent darf der Teenager jetzt in die USA reisen und sich dort hinter dem Steuer von einem echten Rennwagen beweisen. Nicole Diesler hat ihn besucht.
Mittlerweile sehe ich es auch als Chance, etwas im echten Rennsport vielleicht erreichen zu können, und ich will definitiv alles geben, um das zu schaffen.
Dazu gehört auch das Equipment. Alles hat vor 3 Jahren während der Corona-Pandemie angefangen.
Ich hatte einfach ein Lenkrad, das ich am Pult montiert habe, und dann noch auf der Xbox das Formel-1-Spiel gespielt. Und eben dann ist es halt immer professioneller geworden, bis ich dann wirklich so etwas daheim habe, und ich jetzt mir am Anfang wirklich nicht vorstellen konnte, all das. Weil eigentlich habe ich es wirklich aus Spass gemacht.
Aus Spass wird ernst. Der Ciro gewinnt so manchen Preis im virtuellen Rennfahren. Dank der Preisgelder hat er sich die Ausrüstung finanzieren, die 5000 Franken kostet. Der Ciro gehört mittlerweile zu den besten virtuellen Rennfahrern in der Schweiz. Letztes Jahr hat er den Meistertitel im virtuellen Formel-1-Simulator gewonnen.
Ja, da ist der Jubel! Ciro Zambra!
Und im Frühling hat er sogar in einem echten Rennauto zu Frankreich auf einer Rennstrecke fahren. In 2 Wochen darf er sogar auf Amerika auf eine weitere Rennstrecke.
Dann werde ich durch Media-Training, Fitness, alles dort trainiert. Und das ist natürlich wirklich ein Traum, der in Erfüllung geht, jetzt, dass ich auf die echte Rennstrecke kann.
Und für das trainiert der Informatiklehrling jeden Tag in seinem Simulator.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it was great to see inside Ciro Zambra's simulator there and see the training that he's already getting done in his Radical. Great news for the young man. We spoke yesterday of the chances that Deegan Fairclough got in the Rocket competition, transferred into a British F4 seat for the season. For Ciro Zambra, wins the Challenger League Championship last year, able to fund some new equipment in his home, and now he's got this opportunity this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect, and it's the platform that we obviously also provide, and other sim racing competition also do. So he really deserved that, and he's basically heading off tomorrow to the States. So it's going to be a fantastic experience for him. Hopefully he will share a lot of that in interviews or towards us personally. I'm very glad that we actually had subtitles there for you guys, because that was actually Swiss German. Not sure if you understood something, but obviously there were some English subtitles for you.
I understood USA and America.
Yep.
And that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I actually watched it at home, and didn't get a word. But there he is in the middle of your screen in Kemptall, and what an opportunity for the young man, because again, we spoke yesterday of Deegan Fairclough. You look at the year he had, 3rd in the British Formula 4, 3 race wins, multiple podiums.
Yeah.
this is a chance for Ciro to really... the fitness training, the media training, he gets to experience a day in the life of a real race driver. But there's also an opportunity there for people to spot him, see what he can potentially do in these kind of cars.
Yeah, obviously, if you get the opportunity to drive in a real race car, obviously you want to do as well as possible, right? So it is a chance for him. It is a chance for him to shine and, basically show other people what he is capable of.
Yeah.
And who knows what's going to happen? Maybe that's first. It's just his first step, and maybe some other people will follow. So it's great that not only us but also other companies are basically working towards bringing sim racers into real motorsports, and I think it's great.
It's a fantastic opportunity that Ciro obviously flies tomorrow, I believe you said. So he's going to be absolutely fantastic. He'll be absolutely relishing the chance to be flying to America, and we wish him all the best. So with Ciro Zambra jetting off to America, he's first of all got to tackle Catalonia, and a track explanation coming your way very shortly, in which we saw a few bits yesterday, chances for overtaking in certain areas, but a lot of things that can go horribly, horribly wrong. We saw some incidents at tricky parts of the circuit.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a gaggle sometimes. People were, too eager to get past quite quickly. So I expect this time it's going to be a bit different, but, maybe the drivers will prove us wrong. It's tricky to overtake. We've pushed to pass 8 activations for 8 seconds. So this will play a role definitely, especially when and where you use it.
The thing we spoke about yesterday as well was the penultimate corner, the change to that final sector, obviously running the MotoGP or Formula One layout this year. No final chicane to go through, that right-hander. We said yesterday, easy to lose the car through there. We haven't actually seen it yet in 2 knockouts in a race so far. It's provided to not be the difficult part of the circuit.
Yeah, but you saw some guys really struggling, so they were drifting quite a lot. So it's a tricky bit. Still, if you have it under control, you don't lose too much time. But once the race is on, you never know what's going to happen, and the drivers are nervous. The drivers want to, be as close as possible to the car in front to get that overtaking towards the end of the straight, basically. Yeah.
Indeed, it is. Well, let's take a look now at the Circuit Barcelona Catalunya track guide. So the track preview then here in Catalonia, it is the Circuit Barcelona Catalunya. What a track this is. It was opened in 1991. It's 4.65 kilometres, 9 left-handers and 7 to the right, all very difficult. 695 metres from the start to turn 1, and it is Europe's busiest circuit. It is also the track where F1 did a lot of its pre-season testing. We head then from that crucial P1 grid spot all the way down to turn 1, and easy to get such a good run, Fabio, into turn 1, and you can go outside or inside because 1 and 2 come up quickly.
Yeah, so this is basically your best opportunity to get an overtake done, because after that it's basically all following other cars until you get back to the main straight.
Until you get back to the main straight, turn 3, a long right-hand. You have to hurry up and wait to get back on the power before heading down to turn 4. Could we see a few cars look up the inside at turn 4? Or if not, make a mistake on the exit, get a run down to turn 5.
Yeah, turn 5, sometimes you want to get your nose in there, but be cautious because the guy in front usually closes the door, so don't risk it.
Don't risk it. As then you come through into turn 6. Now, you see that where Enrique Marinon braked a little earlier and used his racecraft to get himself past Augustin Torlacci up the left, right, sort of fast-flowing chicane, if you will. Easy to make mistakes there, heading into turn number 8. Turn 9, where it is very easy to make a mistake.
Yes, my favorite corner because it's really, you really have to stick it there because you can lose so much time and you don't want to be overtaken at La Gaixa. I don't know, I'm not Spanish, I can't say that, sorry.
In towards turn, what was the old hairpin now. We come through into the right-hander, and this corner, very easy to get the car unsettled. You get greedy on the curb, and the rear end will just want to overtake you.
Yeah, and this turn, is it 13 or Europe car, and then obviously the chicane is not what we're driving today. So we have 2 fast corners, the penultimate and the last corners that will end up your circuit.
And the penultimate corner kind of drops away from you as you come down the hill in towards this fast last corner. You said yesterday a little lift as you come through here. Again, you don't want to get too greedy on the curb, and you do not want to run too far wide because the AstroTurf out there is very slippy.
Yeah, indeed.
And that brings you across the line and completes a lap of this Catalunya circuit. And places for drivers. It's a very technical circuit. It's fast flowing, but if you make a mistake on them nasty parts of it, you're really going to get punished.
Yeah, you will be punished. And as we just saw before, the guys didn't really do any mistakes, so you're just basically following and waiting for your opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very looking forward to how the drivers will apply the push-to-pass this time around.
Now let's speak about this last sector at Catalunya, because we saw yesterday you kind of come down to what was the old hairpin, which is now the long left.
Yeah, it's a wider.
That last sector kind of kills the racing a little bit for me personally. You don't see a lot happen in that last sector unless there's a mistake.
Yeah, with the hairpin, you could basically outbrake the others a little bit more, because now you're basically lifting them maybe a little bit earlier, or you're basically braking into a corner. Before you were just braking on one line. Now you're basically going. How do they say once again? When trail braking. Sorry, trail braking into that corner. Whereas in the other one, in the old layout, you basically had to just brake really hard and then turn in. And now you're basically closing that gap for the car behind. Maybe we'll see some overtakes, or people will try to do it. We saw it, I think, with Hasse in the first lap, though, and it went wrong for him, so he ended up in last position. So I expect drivers to be cautious and just try to overtake on the main straight.
The thing with the last sector as well is it seems as that part of the track really tightens up because of the nature of the corner. The track feels like it tightens that little bit, and there's not really the opportunity to stick the nose up the inside, is there now?
Yeah, but it's still, the new turn actually gives you more. It gives you the possibility to drive on two different lines.
Yeah.
Whereas before there was only one line, right?
Yeah.
So we saw it yesterday with Augustin and Marcos. They were basically they were side by side until that moment, right? So maybe we'll see some other guys do that as well. And I believe this is the replay
we've got
with Hasse.
some replays now. Florian Hasse.
Exactly.
This is what you just said.
Yeah, I
coming
believe
down towards the old hairpin. And
also,
was it contact? Did he just?
Oh, so he was pushed off then.
So I believe
Angelo.
is Angelo Michel, man to watch, who's outbraked himself into the side of Florian Hasse.
Yeah, he wanted too much there, so he basically just, banked him out of the way. I'm not sure if we have a penalty on that one. Maybe race control can confirm.
There is no
penalty actually.
It has been given as a no further action. But let's watch again, though. So Mikel gets the run. He's completely...
They're level on...
Yeah, he's alongside. He's got the braking done. He's just gone way too deep. And now I'm very surprised. That's no further action.
They're actually level, so he basically has the right to be there. But I'm also surprised that he locks up and, Hasse wants to turn in.
Yeah. Hasse turns in very late.
Very late, though. But
knowing that Mikel is there.
He can see Angelo on the left-hand side because he was already ahead. Yeah. So, not my decision to, hand out penalties. So maybe they can explain me afterwards why that was the case. So, but at the moment, no further action.
Seems strange because Hasse gave the respect, gave the room that Mikel needed. Mikel just missed the apex by a mile. Loris Mistretta then. This is down towards turn 4. So let's see what happens. Now, I saw him tumble down the standings. I thought Ciro Zambra did as well. No, too greedy on the curb. That's why Ciro Zambra went down the standings. Mistretta's lost it and has collected Ciro on his for his troubles.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ciro, obviously. Wrong place, wrong time. Loris, it's a similar mistake that we saw yesterday with Nico. Nico was on, I believe, the other curb. I think it was turn 8.
Yeah.
Right, yesterday, where he lost it on his own.
Yep.
This is the similar case.
So this is
too greedy on the curb.
Yeah.
Car gets loose, and he was not able to catch.
This is Ciro Zambra, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mistretta, very wide, can't keep it together. And Ciro Zambra really, Does he go left?
There.
Does he go right?
Places,
and he loses a lot of places.
Yeah.
The thing with Catalonia as well is a lot of these corners, if you get too greedy on them curbs, that's what's going to happen. These are the way the corners are designed.
Yeah, you're right. And what I love about Catalonia actually is that we have a lot of gravel.
Yeah.
We don't have runoff areas.
It's an old school circuit.
Old school circuit, and drivers are punished if they go off. And I think that's how it should be also in F1. Because we have too much runoff where mistakes don't get punished.
Yeah.
And here we saw it with Mr. Eto. He ended up in the gravel, right?
This is Ciro Zambra on lap 7, down through the final corner. And look, just the same mistake. Too greedy on. Oh, not sure who that was, but again, his own error. On the curb, too greedy. Yep. No further action for that. Rightly so, he made his own error.
He was very lucky there, actually, not to lose it. And
I believe that was Sebastian Hirsch who went past him at the time.
It was an orange car, right, with a pink helmet. Sebastian. Must have been Munich, but not sure in which car Sebastian is driving in.
It was
Hirsch. It was Hirsch,
yeah.
okay.
See?
Yeah, but as you see, drivers can do mistakes, even the Racer League drivers. You get punished if you hit that curb too hard, because that last turn, that curb is quite high. I would say the highest in the entire circuit.
There's not many curbs at Catalonia that you seem to run. You kind of touch turn 1, you can't really touch turn 2. Turn 3, you get nowhere near.
The car is quite delicate.
The car's delicate, and they just, the curbs seem thick and they seem to bounce off of them. Loro and Dedic down towards what was the old hairpin. Jinx left, cuts back right. Dedic has stayed really in one line, comes back across a little bit, leaves plenty of racing room.
They will touch.
Oh, he's run very deep. This is where we saw Loro off then. So Loro into the back of Dedic. Dedic onto the grass. Loro keeps going.
Lost it on his own. Oh no. Because then he was immediately knocked out.
Yes, because that's where Sanchez then came through to go another lap.
That must...
Strange one.
Yeah, that must feel bad. I mean, traction out of that corner is difficult. Yeah. I've experienced that as well. So you got to be cautious on the throttle. But to lose it like that...
Probably just all or nothing to get the power down. We saw yesterday, we saw a lot of driver errors yesterday in the replays. And again, it seems to be a running theme here at Catalonia. In the new RU23 car, we know that it's a little more, reacts a little more to certain things this year. Is that what we're seeing on this difficult circuit as it is? We're seeing the reactions of them little mistakes. Driver errors seems to be really high this weekend.
Well, I've actually talked to the drivers, and they were asking whether we changed the car, but we didn't. We stuck basically to the same setup that we had from race 3, basically. Yeah. It's a track that's quite slippery by nature. So naturally, the car will understeer a little bit more. Traction is more difficult, and sometimes you see drivers struggling with it, and those were just some examples.
Ciro Zambra once again with Sebastian Hirsch. I believe this is the one where Ciro has the mistake. This is from a wider angle then, so we see Ciro too greedy on the curb.
Actually on the green part of the curb, so that was way
he nearly, if he'd have collected Hirsch there,
too close for comfort, right?
Jeez, that is... Well, we've just been told that is an unsafe rejoin.
Can we see that again,
please? Grid penalty. If our producer can rewind that one so we can get that one back. That's okay.
He might say he lost it on the curb there.
So we've gone from Mikel pushing Haase wide, no further action, which I feel was penalty worthy, to an unsafe rejoin on a car that was... I don't think he's in control of that car properly. That's a very interesting one.
It's an interesting one, yeah.
That is a very interesting one. So for Ciro Zambra, +2. Luckily enough, it wasn't...
Where was he?
He was 13th across the line, so that'll put him to P15. That will then promote Angelo Mikel to P14, and that'll promote Smeedel into P13. So Smeedel gifted an extra place because of this, as is Angelo Mikel. Yeah, strange one. I don't quite understand that decision.
Yeah, if we can see it once again, we can have a closer look there. But we watch Wojciech
Pelležny and Enrique Marignon. Now, this is at the end of the lap after Javier Loro has spun, because he's well at the back. But you see Loro there.
Exit of the last turn.
Polesny down into turn 1. Now, he's got to be careful. He's 5 points away from a weekend ban. He comes into turn 1. He's got the apex of the corner.
So far, all good. So Marignan pushes him out a little bit. Yeah, no, that's no fair direction.
Yeah. Marignan just comes back across a little
he's
bit.
Basically, Marignan is on the inside, obviously defending, but they're level, so I think that's all fine.
Well, that's all the replays we can bring you today. A lot of driver errors we saw in them replays. I'm quite...
I mean, some little mistakes, I would say, right? As I didn't see anyone crash into somebody and turn the guy around. That we saw a lot of that.
The biggest crash was Mistretta losing it and Ciro catching him. That was the biggest incident.
But that was on his own.
The only actual one where a car touched another car was the Angelo Mikel Florian Horse one, pushing him wide, missing the apex of the corner. I'd love to get Race Control's thoughts on that.
You can ask him afterwards.
Yeah, on them decisions, because I don't know about you, but that shocks me a little bit, the Ciro Zambra one.
Doesn't feel right with some incidents, but I'm luckily not the guy who has decided.
We can just stand here and talk about it, whether we agree or not. We can.
Yeah, I mean, maybe our viewers are with us on that, or with the Race Control, so
Be interesting for the if viewers to let us know on our social medias whether they agreed with that Ciro decision or whatever. So Ciro's up, and then he's on the back foot. He's down to P15, promoting Angelo Mikel to 14th and Smeedle up into 13th place. Put Smeedle 1 car closer to Alejandro Sanchez, 4 cars between the pair of them. Still got work to do though.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. And if we saw, or if you followed also the other races that we had, Smeedle is actually the guy who uses push to pass the most very early on. So he usually runs out after lap 5 or 6. Last time round in the interview, he said, okay, maybe we're not going to do it next time round, but it will be interesting how he will do this time.
Well, Fabio, thank you very much for joining us once again. We'll speak to you later on in the programme as we now get ready to go racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. Then what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Oh, little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Well, welcome down to our virtual grid where we are now going to be joined live by the 17 drivers who will line up on this grid then today. It is going to be a fantastic race, and I believe we will be able to speak momentarily with Florian Horser, who is coming from P17 on the grid. So he's got work to do. He was the man who last time out had a fantastic race and saved all his push to pass till the very, very end of that Monza race, if you remember. Can he do the same today? Will he use that same sort of tactic in this race? What strategy will he use? I believe we are joined by Florian now. Florian, work to do from P17. Is it the same tactic as Monza?
I wish I could do the same, but obviously, like, Monza is a completely different track, and Barcelona doesn't have too many long straights. So I try to make some moves in the very beginning, and hope for some carnage in front.
Well, Florian, we wish you the best of luck and have a good race.
Thank you.
He will be lining up P17. Loris Mistretic goes from 16th place then in Zurich Kemptor. What can he do from there? He's just in front of him then is Ciro Zambra lining up alongside him. Ciro going from P15. Ciro, a 2-place grid penalty in the knockout qualifying demotes you to 15th place. Congratulations, though, first of all, on the trip to the USA.
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, it was really hard. I just speak to Race Control, and I don't really get the penalty. But I'll just focus on the race now and do my best.
Well, do your best in the race, and from me as well, if I don't speak to you before you go, do your best in the United States of America as well. Best of luck, Ciro.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Ciro Zambra going from P15. Angelo Mikel, the man to watch today. He lines up 14th place, just outside of the points. What can this man do? He's got an incredibly tough task because right in front of him, he's loosening the wrists as he goes. Michael Schmiedel, the current championship leader, promoted to P13 and is clapping, wiggling the wrists, making sure the gloves fit absolutely perfect. He is raring to go for this one, I'm sure. P13 for our championship leader today. P12 will be Javier Loro. He's lining up just outside that top 10. That mistake he made at the hairpin, what will he be able to do? Can he recover from that and get into the points? Maybe look to get into that top 6, top 5 if possible. He's got pace to get up there. It's whether he can get up there. We saw the traffic in that knockout qualifying session. Everybody following everybody, and it was difficult to overpass. Javier Loro goes from P12 before Sebastian Hirsch, who finished P4 last time out, lines up P11. Sebastian, P11 for you in this one, just outside the points. What's the goal?
Yeah, to be honest, it's so incredibly hard to overtake. There's simply going to be one goal today, and that's to stay in front of Hasse and in front of Maranon for the championship. So maybe I can claim P4 today in the championship. That's going to be the main goal. Of course, top 5 I would also take.
Well, Sebastian, best of luck in the race. Hopefully you can achieve the goals you have set yourself.
Thank you.
Sebastian Hirsch going from 11 inside the top 10. Then Wojciech Plesny goes from 10th place. Good knockout qualifying session for Wojciech. He'll want to up that and score some points. A man with incredible pace as well. Can he get inside that top 3? He's quick enough to be on the podium. Can he get there from P10 today? Before we head to P9 and the biggest rival to Michael Schmiedel's championship at the moment, Alejandro Sanchez goes from 9th place. 4 cars between him and Schmiedel. Alejandro will be wanting that podium, if not the race win. Will he have Augustin Torlaci's mentality of win the race? We'll find out in a moment. 9th place for Alejandro Sanchez. We can speak with Alejandro now. Alejandro, 9th place on the grid, but the job not done on a difficult track.
Yeah, it's very hard to overtake, as you saw in the knockout qualifying, so we'll just try to do our best, as in every single race. Just hopefully we don't get involved in any incidents and we don't get any penalties like the last round, for example. But yeah, just gotta try to take it easy.
Well, Alejandro, we wish you the best of luck in this race. Go and get him.
Thank you.
Alejandro Sanchez then going from P9. His Madrid teammate Enrique Maranon going from P8. Can the Madrid Lounge get another double podium? They'll really want that. Enrique Maranon goes from P8, and I'm sure him himself will want to get up there. After a collision at Monza tumbled him down the standings, he wants to fight with Hirsch for that P4 in the championship. Maranon goes from P8 today. P7 then lines up Christoph Holstein, race winner earlier this season at the Red Bull Ring. Can Christoph get that second race win to his name today? He's going to line up from P7 and has a lot of work to do from there. Christoph Holstein in 7th place. David Seed won at Silverstone, the very first race of the season. P6 for him. Can he replicate that Silverstone form and get to the front and win this race? It's going to be the big question that everybody in Madrid will be asking. Before we head to P5, Dominic Dedic. We can speak with Dominic. P5, Dominic, you're just outside the podium. Can you get that podium today?
I think you've heard it a lot before. It's incredibly difficult to overtake. I'll try my best, but we'll see and try not to cause any accidents or be part of any accidents.
Well, Dominic, good knockout. Well done. Best of luck for the race.
Thank you.
Dominic Dedic, who's busy at Monza. Can he be busy today? Sinan Demirbas, the top Munich driver. He's going from P4 as well. He'll be looking to get himself on the podium. Ivan Kaufman then going from P3 on the podium. Can he keep that podium? He had the pace, and we're sticking with Kevin Aby and Jan Teufen then earlier on as Kevin Aby lines up P2. He'll be looking to attack off the line. Don't forget, no rolling start. It's all off the line. And P1, Jan Teufen then going for the race win. Can he replicate his form from the knockout qualifying session? That is your virtual grid and the 17 drivers who line up on it. what a grid it poses to be. And for Kemptol, 4 drivers inside that top 5, it is absolutely crucial that they get a good start today. Not had a win since Christoph Holstein at the Red Bull Ring, and would look to get a win and be on the podium in this one then. The revs rise, it's green and go. That was a quick start here. Not a hold as long as normal today, and it is all the way down to turn 1. We're on board with Dominik Dedic as they all file down. It's a clean getaway. Teufel already defending from fellow Kemptol driver Ivan Kaufmann in the background. Kevin Abey looks to sweep round the outside. He can't do so, and Teufel holds on to that lead into turn 1. Dedic now coming through the pack. He's up in P5. Kevin Abey has got back ahead of Kaufmann. Durbas has got ahead of Kaufmann as well, and now Dedic looks to attack him in towards turn 4. Dedic is ahead of Kaufmann, and Kaufmann not the best of first couple of corners for him. Schmiedl already up to 11th place, and where is Sanchez? Stays P9. He's got there with David Seed. David Seed has tumbled down to P10. Christoph Holstein making it still 4 drivers in the top 5 for Kemptol, and he's absolutely fighting for a place in this team at the moment. Polezny's up to 7th place. Mistretta and Horst are exchanging places down the pack as Sebastian Hirsch has tumbled down the list a few places. Schmiedl's now running up to 11th place. A few drivers already early doors have used to push past that, but it is Jan Teufel. It's controlling the pace. It is Teufel from AB to Merbas. Your top 3 here is Schmiedl, championship leader. Ciro Zambra's got himself past Sebastian Hirsch, and Schmiedl patiently waits on the back of David Seed then as they come down towards turn 1. Push to pass. Looks like he's still got the same strategy of use it all early. And he gets move done around the outside of David Seed into braking zone. Good move. He moves himself into the top 10. Sanchez got past Marignon as well. That is P8 for Alejandro Sanchez. He can now head after Kaufmann then, who's tumbled down the standings at the start of this. Polezny is up into P6, so a good start for him. But Teufel already half a second out front. He's doing the job he needs to here. Schmiedl, P10 on the back. Marignon now. Fabio said yesterday that you want a bit of a wiggle from Marin there, keeps it all together nicely. Fabio said yesterday that you wonder if loungers would help each other, and I wonder if Marignon is set to help Alejandro Sanchez. Schmiedl not using push to pass, gaining in the slipstream down toward the old hairpin. Sanchez as well was gaining on Kaufmann in front. There was 4 cars at the start of this race separating them. There's now 1, and it is the Madrid driver of Enrique Marignon, Dominik Dedic, trying in on the back of Sinan de Merbas. Sinan de Merbas, who's been quite lucky this season, not had the results he wanted, been involved in a few incidents, running really well at the minute in P3. Teufel and Abey use a push to pass as Polezny sets the fastest lap of the race. And we are now back in this train of cars. Silver's lost out again to Sebastian Hirsch, as Hirsch is looking on Javier Loro. Loro went very deep at turn 1, manages to hold it there in P13, and Hirsch didn't get the run into turn 3 he wanted. Now Ciro Zambra tucks the nose underneath, down into turn 4, late on the brake. Ciro Zambra has gone too deep now. Hirsch fights back, and that is the position back for Sebastian Hirsch. Ciro has to defend that inside line from Loris Mistretta, who's now attacking him with Florian Horser on the rear wing. Horser, him and Holstein, the only 2 drivers yet to use a single usage of push to pass. And for Ciro Zambra, he thought his mission complete, but it wasn't. Schmiedl still following Marignon. Sanchez still following Mistretta. All queued up behind what looks to be Christoph Steen at the moment, who's a second behind Sinan de Merbas. But you can see the cars in front look a big train of nearly, I'm going to say 8 cars there from kind of Dedic, Sinan de Merbas down. There's nobody seeing a fastest lap. Mikel Loro inside that minute 14 mark. And Schmiedl just holding a couple of laps of push to pass back at the moment. Didn't use it there, lap 4 of 22. Mikel gets past David Seed, Horst past Mistretta. So the man to watch into P11 now does Angelo Mikel. Very quiet race, similar to the knockout session. The calm before the storm, you feel. What a way to sort, what a difference 2 races. You had the chaos of Monza a while back, you've now got the calm of Catalonia. As Alejandro Sanchez, P8 on the back of not De Merbas, that time his screen is wrong. Javier Loro, though, very wide through the middle sector, pulls the face if say, okay, yeah, whatever. He's behind Kaufmann, is Sanchez, looking up the inside at the exit of the hairpin. That's a bold move, and can't get it done there. Does he feel he's just being held a little bit by Kaufman now? Horsa Machata has got past Sirambra and Javier Loro. Maybe that's why he pulled a face. Has him and Ciro Brahada coming together. They've dropped down to the back of the pack. Now Sanchez uses a push to pass, as does Kaufman, as does Marignon, as does Smeedle. But Alejandro Sanchez, the run, the speed, the slipstream, round outside turn one, he's got it done before the booking zone. Sanchez moves into P7. Smeedle still stuck behind Marignon and Kaufman then. Now there's two cars between them, and behind Smeedle is that of Angelo Michel, although Michel looks to pull out on Marignon. Did he have it done before turn 4? I think he does. Yeah, as we just seen that on there, Smeedle gets past Marignon, so anything Sanchez can do, Smeedle can do it just as well at the moment. It's down in towards turn 5. Big snap for Kaufman there. That'll open the eyes very well of Michael Smeedle, who'll be looking to capitalise on a few wiggles from Kaufman then. And Sanchez, though, now Kaufman, it took Sanchez a while to get past Kaufman. Well, now he'll be open. It takes Smeedle a while to get past because he's now got to close a 9/10 gap back to Christopherson. Jan Toy, by the way, 5 laps in the lead of this race. Kevin Aby within 3 to 5/10 of a second. It's ebbed and flowed, and he's really just controlling this race like he controlled the knockout qualifying session. Absolutely brilliant. Sinan de Murbas in the top 4, all lapping in the 1:14s. And then we start to hit down Hoffman and below, lapping in the 1:15s. Hirsch, Horsa, Mestret, Zambra, 1:14s. As here comes Smeedle to the outside of Kaufman. He's got to go the long way around. He gets the move done. What a fantastic move that was. Running outside, up the inside. Thank you very much. Now he hooks after his championship rival in that of Alejandro Sanchez. And Sanchez would have wanted to claw back a lot of points today. Well, at the minute, he's not able to do so, because he's only going to gain a couple over Smeedle in this one. The points offer for these two drivers at the 17 points is the gap, and at the minute Sanchez will claw 2 points back. It is not what he'd have needed with 3 races to go. Yes, the gap will be shorter, but not as short as he'd have wanted. Marignon now on the back of Kaufman then, really working hard to try and get past the driver from Kemptall, as Sanchez is now on the back. Christoph Holstein, both a race winner this season. Holstein's not going to be an easy man to pass. Christoph will want to get on the podium himself. He's not far off the back of Wojciech Lesny, who's having a very good race from 10th up to P5. There's Kevin Aby. You wouldn't think he's in a Racer League race, would you, this weekend? 300ths slower than Jan Toyfen last time around. Down to 2/10, just under 3/10 now, so it's as close as it's been. Sinan de Murbas is within 2.5 of Kevin Aby. Dominic Dedic is right there. Pelezny is right there. It is a queue pretty much behind Toyfen all the way down to Smeedle. 8 cars in it. A little deep at turn 4, and that gives de Murbas the chance of a little look. Can't get it done though. And Pelezny, Holstein, Sanchez, Smeedle all come filtering through, and they all want a piece of this. Here is Sinan de Murbas, the Turkish driver in Munich. Flicks it into the right hand. Oh, misses apex a little bit wide there. He doesn't really feel the hurt from that. Manages to come through fine. Dedic now having a look, as de Murbas did use push to pass off down that straight to rectify his mistake. Toyfen up front, by the way, extends his gap back up to 6/10. So really ebbing and flowing between the top 2 here. When it gets within that 2/10, it then extends back up to 6/10. Here's Dominic Dedic. Bit of a quieter race for Dominic Dedic this week compared to Mons, but running P4 less, and he's having a fantastic drive. Bit of action further back. That's Sanchez looking up the inside of Holstein into turn 1. Bit of wheel banging there possibly. Nothing wrong with that though. Sanchez through P5. Marignon past Gunn as well. And now Sanchez starting to pick them off. Right, changes once again. Sanchez now will outscore by 4 points. The gap's down to 13 points in the championship as it stands at the moment. So it's a few more points. It'll make him a little happier when they bring him closer to Smeedle in championship fight. But Smeedle now is right on the rear wing of Christoph Holstein. Mohamed Ramsey, you see there in the background, watching on from Smeedle. Really determined. You see Smeedle there, so laser focused on the job he has to. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Smeedle 8. All in a train here, being pulled along by Jan Toyfen, who leads this race. Gaps up to 7, nearly 8/10 of a second now for Toyfen, as Aby uses a push to pass. Lost a 10th that lap. But here comes Sanchez.
Dedic uses push to pass as well. He's going to look on Sinan Demirbaş, fastest lap Enrique Marinon, first man in the 13s. And did Dedic get past Demirbaş? The timing screen says he did. They're still side by side. Pellegrini looks like he's going to get involved in this as well. Further forward, Dominic Dedic, though, I believe, is through and does have it completed. Not sure if there's a car on his inside. No, because the two cars side by side is Pellegrini and Sinan Demirbaş. And now Alejandro Sanchez turns up to the party. And Pellegrini just a little wheel bang and he misses the apex of turn 5. Again, nothing wrong with that. Smeedle's past Holstein, but Smeedle only has taps of push to pass left. Now Holstein's got back ahead of Smeedle. So real drama happening here at Catalonia in the middle stages of this race. The action starting to heat up and push to pass, giving us the overtaking we want. And now Marinon makes it 9 in the queue. And he's coming back to fight Michael Smeedle here. And if Marinon was able to get past Smeedle, well, that would do great things for the championship. That would put the gap down to 11 points because there'd be a 6-point swing in the favour of Sanchez. But Marinon has to pass Smeedle, or Sanchez has to pass somebody else. And speaking of... No, he didn't get past Pellegrini, did he? Apologies. Now, using push to pass, though. Smeedle's got one usage left of it. Sanchez looking to get past Pellegrini. There's two cars side by side. I believe that is Sanchez and Pellegrini. Does Sanchez have the move done again? Not yet on timing screens. Does he now? The inside at turn 3. I think he might do. Dominic Dedic was slow as well there. Sinan Demirbaş has got past Dominic Dedic. So is Dedic in danger now? No, he's not, because Sanchez is through. Marinon wants to try and get past Smeedle. And he has got past Michael Smeedle and stays ahead of Michael Smeedle. So Marinon and Sanchez, both, if I know Sanchez actually lost that to Holstein there. So just when the championship swings a bit more in Sanchez's favour, he's back down to 7th place, which gives him 6 points. Smeedle down to 9th, which gives him 2 points. The gap is still a 4-point swing at the moment. So Sanchez couldn't get the move done on Pellegrini and loses out to Holstein in the time. Gap out back down to the 10th, and it is a kept on 1, 2, 3. Dominic Dedic now on the podium. Sinan Demirbaş P4 at the moment as we enter the halfway stage of the race. Lap 11 of 22. Great racing at the minute. Horse are on a comeback to P14. Here's Sanchez though. He doesn't look flustered. Nothing looks like it phases this young man. He flicks it through left, right, right, left, right. Where's Horsa, P14? Where's the man to watch, Mikel, P11? And really, I have to say, the top 16 are on the back of each other. Duffin to AB Dedic, you know, they're all within a second of each other. The only person who's not really is Javier Loro, 8.5 off the back of Mistrete. But everybody in a second of everybody. Here is the man to watch, Angelo Mikel. And he must be the man to watch in Munich, because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people watching over his shoulder there. Nico Fond and him, you know, exchange tips and help each other through. Smeedle close to Marinon at the minute, and the problem for Smeedle is he's only got one lap of push to pass left. Now Sanchez is right on that rear wing of Christoph Holstein once again. The highest driver from Madrid is Alejandro Sanchez. Highest driver from Munich, Sinan Demirbaş. As KB within 4/10 uses push to pass. Is he going to look to attack Jan Duffin down into turn 1? Well, Sanchez trying to stick in the slipstream then of Christoph Holstein. Pulls back across now, and Kevin Aby got within the closest he's been all day, and still cannot get the move done. Sergio Zambra's got past Florian Horsa. We said Yannick Pletcher, the coolest man in a cockpit. We might have to change that, because Kevin Aby, you wouldn't think he's fighting for a race win in the Racer League here, would you? Right. Mistretta has lost out massively, so now the top 15 are all within second of each other as you go up the standing. Bar Kaufman now actually, who's just dropped outside of that to Smeed. Pellegrini now P5 on the back of Sinan Demirbaş, but not able to get the job done as yet. Good race for Wojciech Pellegrini. P10 he started. Well, P5, she's gained 5 places. Who will blink first? Gap out front, 0.8 of a second. Kevin Aby did all that work at the beginning of the lap to close it. It's gone back up. Jan Duffin was pretty much quicker on that lap. 8 users pushed past. They're all using push pass, apart from Alejandro Sanchez. Smeedle has got past Marinon because Smeedle has used his final lap of push to pass. And Marinon fights back behind. Smeedle gets back in front on the timing screen. Marinon gets now back in front on the timing screen. And Marinon, does he stay in front? Big Sanchez
That'll have caused a few nervy moments there. But Marignon, yes, now stays in front of Smeedle. Smeedle has no more push to pass left to use. That 13 of 22. We're into the final stage of this race. And Marignon doing a fantastic job in his fight with Smeedle and in that fight for 4th place in the championship. Doing really, really well at the moment. He's not far off the back of Sanchez, you know. There is Madrid, all watching on. So Marignon in the orange simulator there. Sanchez in the red one, closest to the camera. Smeedle, though, no push to pass. Will he be a sitting duck to Kaufman, who's got 2 usages left down this straight? Does Kaufman think of using one? No, he does not. As Marignon goes defensive, Sanchez thinks of using one. Holstein defends. Sanchez, we've seen him swoop round the outside before. He swoops round the outside again, and that is P6. Right, massive changes once again in this championship. Sanchez will score 8 points at the moment. Smeedle only 2, so that is a 6-point swing. The gap would be down at stage to 11 points in the championship. And Sanchez with 1 use left, you feel that if he can get a couple more plays, get past Polesny, who's up to 4th place now, and get past Demerbas, you feel that it's really going to tight going into Spa, where they had an epic battle last season. Sanchez through towards the back straight. Smeedle 6/10 to Kaufman. He's 3/10 behind Marignon, so he's got a tough task here. We saw how hard it was to overtake without push to pass. Now using the push to pass with cars around you. There's Kevin Aby, then Ciro Zambra in the red simulator behind him. Kevin Aby having a fantastic drive today, but he's just done what he's done in knockout. He's just been there comfortably second, cannot gain a leader. He's got 1 use of push to pass left. Duffin has done so well to hang on to this lead and keep 4 usages at his disposal. And Aby can't get close enough. Dedic is close to Aby. Polesny's right up the rear wing of Dedic. Then it's Zambra. Then it's Demerbas, who's dropped off the back of Polesny. Sanchez has used his final lap of push to pass. So him and Smeedle are done. Was that wise for Sanchez to use it there? He'll know his tactics. He'll know his game. Smeedle within 2/10 of Marignon still. Down the order, Horse into 15th place, 1.9 off the back of Ciro Zambra. Man to watch, Angelo Mikel. 12th, Sebastian Hirsch is in the points. He's on the back of this train, so he's not far behind Smeedle and Marignon. It's fantastic how these cars are, they just can't get close enough. Poor Javier Loro, 12.1 off the back. He's really struggled today. Here's Smeedle. T. Marignon just in front. Holstein and Sanchez, Demerbas, Polesny, Dedic. Everybody's there. Mohamed Ramsey's watching on. And Smeedle then, down the start straight. No push to pass at his disposal. It's time to take his hands off the wheel and adjust his glove moment as he head brakes now into turn 1. Little mistake there from Marignon. Not enough though to open the door for Smeedle at the moment. Now, what's happened out front? Because Dominic Dedic has got himself ahead of Kevin Aby. So Dominic Dedic has moved himself up into P2. There is Dominic Dedic, life kept tall. He's now in 2nd place and is hunting down the man in the background in the red simulator. That of Jan Duffin then. And Dedic took the knockout pole last time out Monza. Or could he get a race? Don't drop a wheel in the gravel there. That will really hurt you. Old school circuit. You cannot touch the gravel. The bonus for Toy is lap 16, 22, nearly 17. He's still got 4 usage push to pass left. Somebody's telling him he's still got them 4 usages. But he's not had to defend today, as he's not really had to fight hard today. Demerbas has got himself back in front of Alejandro Sanchez and uses push to pass. No, apologies, he hasn't. Sanchez hasn't got past Demerbas yet. He got past Holstein earlier on. But Demerbas has used down to 1 lap. Dedic is round! Dominic Dedic was running P2, and what has happened there then was nowhere near Toy. I don't believe was near Kevin Aby. Dominic Dedic has had a moment and is dropped all the way down to 16th place. That is how close the pack is. Oh, was there contact?
The look over your shoulder there suggests there may have been contact. Here comes Angelo Miquel. What has happened to Alejandro Sanchez? Because all of a sudden, Marignon's now up to 5th, Hirsch up to 6th, Angelo Miquel is up to 7th place. So Sanchez has tumbled down to P8. Well, it swings again in this championship because now he's only going to gain 2 points over Michael Schmiedl. Putting the gap at the moment down to 15 points in championship. And to watch, Miquel was 12 minutes ago. He's now 7th. Hirsch in a big fight with Marignon for the top 4 in the championship. He's now running P6 on the back of Marignon. Ciro Zambra's in the points. Harder is P12. Christoph Holstein's down to 15th place. As Pelesny now moved to 2nd, he's having a scrap with Kevin Aby for the 2nd place. He's gone from 10th on the grid and he's fighting for P2 in the minute, is Pelesny. Having a real storming drive. Lap 18 of 22 race, really getting excited, really starting to turn up the heat. Ciro Zambra inside the top 10. He's going to be a man to keep an eye on at the moment, but Angelo Miquel, 3 usages of push to pass left, has got Sebastian Hirsch right in front of him. Zambra can see current Challenger League champion trying to chase current Racer League champion. Tabas back into P4. Great Sinan have a fantastic result this season. It's not done yet though. It's only lap 18 of 22. Sanchez still on the rear wing of Angelo Miquel. Miquel on the back of Hirsch. Hirsch trying to hunt down after Marignon. Great to see this man up there today. Really is. Pelesny uses one use of push to pass. He's got 1 left. AB defends heavy. Pelesny's round the outside. I believe Pelesny's into P2. And Wojciech Pelesny moved up to P2 in this race. Great from him there. And that is fantastic stuff from the big man from Czechia. And now with 1 use left, can he get that win from Jan Teufen, who's got 4 usages of push to pass? We keep saying it. I hope he knows he's got 4 usages left at his disposal. AB's done, Sanchez is done, Schmiedl's done, Dedic is done. All of a sudden, Javier Loro finds himself having to attack on. He's still got 6 usages left, so could find himself up the order a little bit. Marignon uses 1 down the back straight to get a bit closer to De Murbas, pull himself away a little bit from this man, Sebastian Hirsch. Is closer to Marignon. Marignon is to De Murbas. Now the timing screen's here. I believe Sanchez has just got ahead of Angelo Miquel. So he's put a car between himself and Michael Schmiedl once again. Marignon's done for push to pass, lap 20 of 22. Miquel gets back on Alejandro Sanchez and takes that place back away from him. So Sanchez is now back down to P8. What a race. Electrifying stuff. We said the car before the storm, and it really has been today. Teufen, lap 20 of 22. Sanchez a little lock up there, follows Miquel a little deep. He will not want to give Schmiedl a sniff of an opportunity. Pelesny off a second to Jan Teufen. And 1 usage of push to pass left. You feel that Pelesny's really got to get close, get the job done. And without trying to use a push to pass, because if he can do it without using, he'll have it at his disposal when Jan decides to use one. On the other hand, Teufen could use one down start straight. Pelesny's within 2/10 of Teufen now. That gap opens up out final corner. Really opens up to it. Went up to 6/10. He's had a little smile there for Pelesny. Does he know he made a little mistake out the final corner? 7/10 now the gap to Murbas. Has got past Kevin Aby and is sitting on the podium in a minute. So Sinan using his last push to pass to get himself up onto the podium. Well, he's got 2 laps to hang on to it. Teufen, Pelesny, De Murbas, top for AB, Marignon, Hirsch, 4th, 5th and 6th. Miquel, Sanchez, Schmiedl and Zambra round out the points. Florian Horser from the back of the grid. The back of Ciro Zambra, 1 use to pass between them. And all of a sudden, he has a chance of a point. Here is your race leader currently, Jan Teufen. Live in Kempthal at the moment.
just steadily going about his business. But Polezny's close right up. Polezny seems, though, to have a poor sector. That is really where Duffin pulls away. Oh, that'll be track limits. Polezny within 3 attempts. He uses push to pass now. Duffin does not. He does now. He activates longer down the straight. It's the final lap of the race. Duffin will have push to pass a little more than Polezny. Polezny's going to go around outside. Or as they stall the last lap, Polezny leads this race. They touch. Polezny goes off. Does he have to yield that place back? He's got a poor bit of momentum. Duffin, though, lifted off there, giving the place back. Did he? Marion Hirscher now screen. Duffin has left it 2 laps in the day for his push to pass. And all of a sudden, Polezny leads this race on the last lap. Mikel's got past Hirsch. 0.8 of a second is that gap. Polezny to Duffin. Polezny has gone from 10th in the starting of this race to lead at the very end. Your heart goes out for Duffin, who's led every lap, apart from the most important lap. And we come to the end of this race, but what a race it's been. Sanchez only going to take 2 points off of Smeedle at the moment. As they round the final corner, Polezny very, very wide. Again, track limits. Race control will be looking at, but it's Wojciech Polezny who wins here today. A great win for him. It'll be P2 for Duffin. Sinan de Merbas, great to see him get a good result. He then gets P3. P4 goes the way of Kevin Aby. P5 for Enrique Marinon, good stuff there. Angelo Mikel, the man to watch, ended up P6. Great drive from him. Sebastian Hirsch, P7. Not what he'd have wanted. He lost out points to Marion. Sanchez, P8. He takes points out of Smeedle, that's the best you can say. Smeedle, P9. Ciro Zambra rounds out the top 10. And Duffin collecting a lot of high fives, and rightly so, because that was a fantastic, fantastic race. Florian Horsler as well, from the back of the grid up to P11. Look at the smile on Sinan de Merbas's face. Absolutely ecstatic with that. He's been due a good result and gets one today. Absolutely fantastic stuff for Sinan. He will be over the moon with that race result there. He throws his gloves on the floor. He can calm down. I don't think this man can believe it either. Jan Duffin led every lap, apart from the one at the end. There's Dominic Dedic. Noah, our Racing Unleashed representative. But what a race that was. Duffin then, P2 on the road. Dominic does not look a happy man out there at the moment. Now a shake of the head. We didn't see what happened, we just saw him off. We know he just got past Kevin Aby at the time. And yeah, very disgruntled he looks at the moment. He does not look happy with that incident. Whatever happened, you get the feeling something happened. Right. What a race, what a race. What can you say? Smeedle and Sanchez. Sanchez at one point was going to claw back 6 or 8 points over Smeedle in this championship race, taking it down to 11 and 9 points. He only gains 2, and that's as it stands at the moment. Obviously, all results are provisional. Your provisional winner, once again, is Wojciech Polezny from Jan Duffin, then P2 and P3, Sinan de Merbas. Sinan due a good result. It's been a while for him to get one. But what a day for that man. Pole position, and then a fantastic race. Did he just hesitate on the push to pass a little bit too much? Did he just feel like, should he have used it a little bit more? We are joined once again by Fabio. Fabio, fantastic race towards the end there.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat actually there. I didn't see it coming that Polezny actually would get the pass done, because I believe Jan just, should have activated it right from the exit of the last turn. He hesitated a little bit, and this really cost him the win today.
Cost him the win. He had 3 laps left, 3 usages left as he crossed the line. Should he have, when he had that gap towards the end of the race, used it? Maybe create that gap?
He should have. He should have used it on the straight.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't do it. Maybe he was too focused on getting the exit right. Polezny was straight on the push to pass from the exit, and it worked out for him. Congrats.
That's a very unhappy man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened actually with Dedic. whether there was a contact between those two. Oh, so they had a crash.
Yeah, we've just been told in our area that he was bumped by Aby as they came together. So
okay, so at first I thought he was actually spinning on his own, but they had a contact.
Yeah,
there.
contact
Okay.
fight for P2 at the time. So I wouldn't like to be in that conversation at the moment.
No, not at all. Just curious what Dominic is saying there, but he doesn't look a happy man.
No, he doesn't look a happy man at all. And after, he was involved heavily at Monza with Smeedle and Sanchez. To come here, be sitting P2 thinking, oh, there's a race win on the cards here. Spun around.
Yeah.
Yannick, cool them down.
Yeah,
cool them down.
I mean, obviously the track naturally with our format is the one where you want to start in the front.
Yeah.
So it's the biggest chance of those guys really scoring big, as we saw now with Can. Dominic had the better pace in general on this track than Can, so there was a possibility to win that race. Yeah. It would have been his first, so not ideal for him. I feel for him, but I also feel for this guy who ended up in P3 provisionally.
Day. Yeah.
Not sure if he can hear us, but congrats. Sinan, can you hear us?
Thank you. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Sinan, P3 provisionally at the moment. You've been due a good result.
Yeah, man, I had such a tough season personally. The first few races didn't go to plan. I got taken out so many times, and in the first few races I had more pace, and in the last few races I just didn't have the speed to keep up. And this race I struggled a lot, and today I just thought I have to be intelligent. I have to use my push to pass in the right moments, defend when necessary. Maybe the guys behind will get into a fight and hold each other up. That's exactly what happened. And ahead of me, I knew they would get into a close fight. Maybe there will be penalties, but yeah, just consistency, every race getting better. The season, in my rookie season, first podium already, I'm just speechless. So happy.
You got past Kevin Aby late on in the race to get the podium, and we saw the emotion on your face when you did cross that line, P3.
Exactly, like it's a lot of hard work, and I wasn't able to practice as much as I wanted to. Like a lot of stuff happened in my private life this season, and I had to ignore all of that stuff, and I used my push to pass very strategically. I knew Kevin Aby wouldn't have push to pass left in the last 2 laps, and I used the opportunity when I had a good run out of the last corner, and yeah, I made it stick. That was exactly the plan.
Awesome. So maybe, Mathew, you don't know that, but Sinan will have a smile on him when I say this now. But he is actually driving with gardening gloves. So it's not sim racing gloves, it's gardening gloves. Unfortunately, I think he threw them out of the cockpit.
On the floor, yeah.
The grip must be great. So maybe also down to his gardening gloves that he ended up on P3 here, because I'm sure, Sinan, you were really nervous by the end of the race because, the field was so close.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't make any mistakes because I saw the train behind me. Everyone was so close. One slide and you lose the position. And I had a few slides. Those gloves helped me to grip the steering wheel very tightly and catch the car. And yeah, I mean, it's just a cheap tactic, and I can replace the gloves, and I don't need karting gloves. And I find I have a better grip on the steering wheel, so it helps.
Maybe he needs a sponsorship.
Yeah.
He needs a sponsorship by that gardening company.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
should phone them up and say you finished P3 in the sim racing competition.
Sinan, congratulations.
I see what I can do.
Provisionally P3 at the minute, Sinan. Congratulations. We'll let you and the gardening gloves enjoy that one, buddy.
Maybe he'll take him to the podium.
I think I need to invest in some gardening gloves when I get back home.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You have some gardening gloves?
Nope. Straight to the shop.
Yeah. Sales go up once he will share the brand.
Yeah, that's it. The price will shoot up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great race for Sinan. I know he's had a difficult season in his, like he said, in his debut season in the race league. Yeah. And he really today has shown what his skills are and what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, he trained a lot together with Sebastian and the guys in Munich. He had some tricky races, but still he was managing his positions quite well. So he's constantly in the points, not big points like today, but some points.
Yeah, some points as well. This man's another man who I think is going to be very happy. Jan Teufel, P2. I bet you didn't expect that one.
Oh no, no way! I expected that. Honestly, I knew it was gonna be like the track was gonna work in my favor. That it's really hard to overtake. But yeah, I honestly for me it was really nice to just keep it together, not make any mistakes, and yeah, I'm really happy with that. Even though, yeah, my pace could have been quicker, but I was just focused on keeping it super safe, super clean, not getting any track limit penalties or anything like that. So yeah, I'm content with my performance.
John, congratulations. This is Fabio. Well done.
Thank you.
Can you tell me or us why did you use the push to pass so late on the last lap on the main straight?
Honestly, it's the most stupid mistake. I don't know. I kind of missed the button the first time or something. I don't know. It was super stupid. It should have never come to this. I should have used my other 2 push to passes in the laps before, so he couldn't touch me. I was just, I guess, too distracted to notice. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a shame that it even came this far. But yeah, that's where we are now.
That's where we are. Disappointed to obviously not win the race after leading for the entirety of it. But still, P2, it's good points for you, and it's an amazing result.
I'm still over the moon. Like, I'm so happy with P2. Honestly, I still can't believe it. P2 is like more than a win for me still. Would have been even greater if I could have managed a 1-2 with Dominik Dedic. But yeah, unfortunately, he had that incident behind me, which it would have been so cool to just be together on the podium. But yeah, maybe next race.
Well, provisional P2 at the moment, Jean. Congratulations. We'll await final classification.
Thank you.
So P2, very happy. 2 very happy men on the podium at the moment. We'll speak with obviously Wojciech Plesny very shortly. But great racing from Sinan. Great racing from Jean there. 2 drivers that you don't normally see on the podium that often. So it's great to see them up there today. And really have used the track to their advantage today. Difficult to overtake. Good knockout session. It's given them the reward they needed.
Yes, they set out to not do any mistakes on a track where overtaking is difficult. Yeah. They've managed to do it, stayed out of trouble, managed to do some overtakes in the case of Sinan. So well done to them. It's probably going to be a bit harder next time around when we're on Spa, obviously. Yeah. Overtaking will be easier. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But first of all, if we go to this man, Wojciech, can you hear us?
Clean.
Well, Wojciech, provisional P1 at the moment. That was a good race. You came from 10th on the grid.
I think that good race is not exact. I had a race that flink fluently and made no mistakes. Had a relatively clean race, and yeah, I keep the secret when pushed past to the last lap and use it, and it was. Guys, it was quite unfortunate that the man who starting up the P1 lost the P1 position in the last lap. But yeah, make that type of dive bomb into turn 1 is not okay for me. I was ready to narrow the car to cross the turn 1. Otherwise, I will spin out, which is quite not okay for me in terms of fighting for P1 in last lap. Sorry.
So obviously a little disgruntled with what happened at turn 1 on the last lap. Apart from last lap, you had to make some overtakes because starting P10, I bet you didn't think the race win was achievable today.
I think the nice idea was then going the full center around the outside of the first corner. Yeah, I made some maybe 3 or 4 positions to my good. Otherwise, I used the mistakes of the others and step up, taken down from the list, then nobody remains.
You kept that last usage of push to pass till the very end. Was that always the plan, to leave it for the last lap, to have one attack at the race lead?
You can't plan it on the start of the race, mate. It's quite random, especially in conditions of these races.
Wojciech, this is Fabio. Congratulations. Going into the race or the weekend, you knew you already had 15 penalty points on your roster. So you knew you had to have clean weekend. So, knowing that and still winning the race now must feel awesome for you.
To be honest, for me, it's not like winning the other races because, to be honest, once again, it's all about the head clean race and huge tons of luck. And this time I had. Previous years I have always some bad luck, which caused me some podiums, maybe wins. Now I grabbed it.
Well, Wojciech, congratulations. Provisional P1 at the moment. Wojciech Polesny is your provisional race winner. So 3 happy drivers there. And what a race it was. We have, though, got a... Right, OK, so we're being told the race control have sorted P1, 2, 3, but there is the protest time that we are still waiting to get through. So we aren't going to bring you what we know at the moment in case anything gets protested. Okay, then. We don't know. We've just been told in our ear that it's confirmed, but they're in a protest time, so we don't know who is P1, 2, 3.
We don't know yet, yeah. So let's watch some replays then.
Well, this is the end of the race. This is Polesny crossing the line for the win. Duffin just behind.
Yeah.
There. A good P10 on the grid, a good drive for Polesny. I know he says that he's not happy with the last lap, but a good drive, 10th to first.
Yeah, I mean, I guess John was just, he was just frustrated that he just lost that position. He tried to get it back. Fortunately for them both, they still connected, but no one of them crashed. So because it was last lap, so there is prize money at stake. There are big points at stake. Yeah. So it could have ended quite bad for them. So very lucky that it didn't happen. And still provisional here, so nothing confirmed yet due to the the protest time that the drivers still have. So they will hand that in digitally. We have a form that they can fill out and send it to race control. They will look at it, but they will especially look at the top 3 and see if they were involved in some sort of shenanigans, and then will soon be giving us the result.
Indeed, they will. We heard from our producer that Dominic Dedic and Kevin Abbey had a coming together, which could be unfortunate for Kevin, who finished P4. We don't know what happened in terms of the incident, but at the time, Keptile was running 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Keptile in the race league haven't had the best of seasons. They've had 1 race win with Christoph Holstein, but what could have been for them?
Like you said, 1, 2, 3. Really, it was all to play for. They had it in their hands. I believe if they just basically reduced the risks of having connections and crashes, they would have ended up in 1, 2, 3, like they were running. So, I don't want to be in the skin of Kevin today, but I can't say how it really evolved because I haven't seen it. So maybe this will give us more insight.
So this is the Dominic Dedic. Now Dedic is the car in front. He's just taken P2.
So he's running on push to pass then.
Kevin Abbey on the push to pass. You see the closing speed.
No. Okay, you can't do that.
Oh, you see now why Dominic was angry.
I mean, I can't really comment on that. I mean, that's slam dunk penalty and you shouldn't do it. You're running in P3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that you'll know better than me, obviously, racing last year. Does it feel worse when it's a driver from your lounge that makes contact with you? Does it feel
obviously, you have to look each other into the face.
That's what I mean. You can't. With that incident, Dominic's come out of the cockpit.
Yeah.
He sees Kevin.
Yeah.
Whereas, if it's somebody from Madrid or somebody from Munich or Calm on the Challenge League, you can't see them to sort of...
You might be chatting to them and,
Yeah, on the Discord. But, seeing them face-to-face, the frustration. We saw the frustration of Dominic Dedic.
No.
There he is. Ciro Zambra there.
No, it's...
Is that not Ciro Zambra?
No, this is Tiziano Caponio.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Dominic, if you're hearing this, I'm very sorry, but keep your head up. You did great.
And and the worst thing for Dominic is, and you have to hear it from him, is that his 2 races where he's been in the thick of a podium fight.
Yeah. yeah, what can you do? I mean, in the end, it was not his fault.
Yeah.
It was someone else's. So, yeah, just try to forget. Obviously, it's hard. There's a lot of prize money at stake, and he would have loved to be on the podium with Can. Obviously, they're very, very, very good mates. And yeah, so he basically leaves for the train. So I'm not gonna stay there and watch him celebrate. But yeah, a race to forget for Dominic. Then yeah, on to the next one. Really.
Kevin sat away from everybody. Just
I mean, obviously Kevin knows that he made a mistake. It's a learning process, right? I'm quite sure that these kind of things will never happen again to him, but it was just one of those days that that mistake happened. Maybe he was trying to, you know, show a little bit Dominic that he was there to try to make him nervous, force him into a mistake. It went horribly wrong for both of them, and obviously Kevin will not, I guess, the pack was so close to each other. Kevin will have a penalty, so he will not end up even in the points, and he needs to score points because he needs to, if he wants to stay in the race league, he needs those points, right? Otherwise he gets demoted to the Challenger League.
So let's take a look at the replays here. This is the start of the race today, and we're on with David Seed, the red car on the third row of the grid, apologies. And he didn't get the best to start there. You see the white car on his outside. Good launch from him. Really attacking the back. There's Kevin Aby out front attacking Jean. Bit of contact from drivers, but all nice and clean.
I was actually looking for Wojtek here. He went around the outside in turn 1, gained a lot of positions. So this was basically a dream start for him.
Dream start for him. A dream start for everybody, really. You know, not a lot of contact, a bit of contact, bit of rubbing wheels.
No crashes. So
nothing too major. Good start.
Yeah, good start, clean start, race league.
Pellegrini as well, you know, around the outside.
Yeah.
He said in his interview, you know, 3 or 4 cars he overtaken there.
It was super late.
The exact dream start you would have wanted to put yourself, you know, that puts you from 10th to 6th, and all of a sudden you're right on the back of the leaders.
Yeah, and then anything can happen, right? But it didn't really happen a lot, but still there were crashes, penalties were being applied, and suddenly you find yourself in P3 or whatever.
This is Javier Loro then, and is this where we see Loro drop way back, coming down towards the hairpin?
That's with, who's that, the other driver? Is that
It's,
that's Zero.
Zambra,
oh my God. I mean,
Zero. Zero turns in on him there a little bit.
Yeah.
The problem...
But the thing is, he's the car in front, right? In the end. He turns on. I mean, if we see that again, and if we see that their tires are level, obviously Zero needs to give more space. Yeah, we'd love to see it again. If our producer can show it once again, then we can see whether that was the case or not. If not, it's on Loro. And if not, if they were level, then Zero needs to give him a bit more space. They have Helicorsa, so the radar now available to them. They know that the car is close to them. It will show not only the cars, it will also show colors. So yellow, it's, you know, reasonably close to you. Red, it's right next to you. So, yeah, maybe they need to get used to that because it's the first time we're actually running it.
And there we go. Let's look again. So Zambra to the outside. He's passed.
He's passed now.
He's passed now. Loro then comes back at him.
Would he make the corner, Loro?
That's where that's where it's hard to say. He's locking up. He goes straight on. It's a bit like the Angelo Mikel one. He didn't make the corner. Is Loro making the corner? That's the question that race control are going to ask.
He locks up into Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zero knows he's there.
Yeah.
Potentially he believes that Loro, okay, I'm giving up that position, and Loro obviously didn't, and tried to get it back.
Late,
and it's a very late move, or he was braking basically just too late.
This is real time then, so you see, you want to brake about now, and he's just way too late. He's not making that corner.
I don't believe he would make that corner actually, so he's carrying.
And the worst thing is he's put himself in that position. He put himself 8 seconds off the back of the rest of the pack.
I believe that was like lap 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, early
on.
The
race is done.
Early on in the race, and you know, I think he ended the race with like 6 or 5 laps of push to pass left, and
it's not what he needs also in the championship, right?
Yeah,
because we had some guys now scoring big.
Yeah.
So that will put him on the back foot for the championship.
In the championship today, Loro was He started 5th in the knockout, which means he's what, 5th from bottom, maybe 6th or 7th from bottom, with a couple of drivers missing.
Now to Chan.
Yeah.
And
Dominic didn't score. Kaufman didn't score. Kevin probably got a penalty coming his way. Yeah. But with Jean scoring big, that really puts Javier Loro, because what is it, the bottom 3 drivers?
Depends, if drivers want to continue in Race League whatsoever. So last year we promoted 3 drivers from the Challenger League.
Polesny and Sanchez here then. So Sanchez on the outside of Polesny. Oh, now. That's what gives Holstein the place back. It doesn't quite give Schmiedl.
That's why he lost 2 positions almost.
Yeah, this was earlier on before his bigger, what we didn't see on stream, before his bigger instant. Again, I'd like to see if our producer can take us back to that one again. Look at Sanchez's entry into the corner. He's alongside, he's got ahead. Polesny's still there, still at least half a car there. Polesny's made the apex of the corner, and Sanchez just clips, as he comes across, just clips the front wing of Polesny, which unsettles Sanchez. Sanchez then effectively loses a couple of places.
I was just hoping that there is no investigation for the top 3. Let's see how this ends up.
I believe this is no further action, personally, because Sanchez comes off worse.
So who are we looking at now?
We're meant to be looking at Sanchez, but the camera's...
I can't see it.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
So yes, look at Polesny here.
So they remember, race control will look at the fact if the
front wheel to rear wheel
needs to be level to have the right to be there. So that's the case, right?
No, I feel Polesny's got the right to be there.
Yep.
Sanchez has the little.
Sanchez probably will say no.
Yeah.
But,
when
he left space. But that was just corner, really, really close.
Sanchez just too much, on the limit.
I think that's what race control will look at, and they will say, okay, might have turned in a bit too early. I mean, it's
with Sanchez losing the place back to Polesny and then to Christoph. No further action really. Nobody's came off bad from that.
You could, I mean, I want to talk with Alejandro about it, right?
Sanchez won't say that nobody came off bad.
Yes.
There is one driver protest came in, Teufel versus Polesny.
And is Teufel saying that Polesny cut the corner? Or?
I don't know. We haven't been told that. So.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully we'll see that once again with Polesny and
the one I'd also like to, I don't know if our producer has the replay, is when Sanchez was ahead of Holstein, I think was with Sinan and dropped right back down the order, and Marignon, Mikel and Hirsch come through.
There must have
we didn't see that. All of a sudden, that all changed on the time screen. So hopefully our producer has that one for us as well, because that would have been an interesting one to see. Because at the time, there was going to be like a 6-8 point switch in the standings.
Yeah.
It's only 2. So Sanchez could have come away, 11 to 9 points behind Schmiedl before penalties.
And Angelo finished ahead of them both, right?
Yeah. So he was 9.
I mean, it's not big points, but still he finished the race.
He closes the gap to Sanchez. He was 19 points behind Sanchez. 19. He closes the points to Sanchez, which closes it even more to Schmiedl. Keeps him in contention.
But I believe Polesny, if he wins that race, might end up in P3 in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. He has around 30-something points.
He's in the mix for that top 3, top 4 at the moment. There's an incredible fight for this 3rd place in the championship. Sanchez and Schmiedl running away at the moment. But there is an incredible fight. Mikel, Marignon, Hirsch, Polesny. I think David Seed might be in that fight as well. A real good fight. So every point at the minute. And again, we said yesterday, the business end of the season, you're at the nitty-gritty stage where everything needs to be bang on. You need to get the points. You need to take the points home with you in the championship. Yep. This is Polesny and
is the last lap then,
Teufel then. So this is what is under investigation at the moment.
But the situation or the scene will be at the end of the straight. So we got to wait for that a little bit. Or is he on the investigation because he goes so wide like this?
Is it for track limits?
Yeah.
So he gets a great run through the last corner, nails the push to pass. We know Jean didn't use it till late, goes defensive, comes back across. Now Polesny is ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they were level at the apex with their wheels, right? But that's already too late, basically, in my opinion.
You've got to be level before you turn in.
Before that, yeah.
It says you're turning into the corner. If you're not level on turning, you're not really going to get the space.
If it's at the apex, usually it goes wrong.
So we're being told that Jan Teufel has protested against that. Now, the only thing I can think of is the track limits before the final corner there, because watching that, Jan's not alongside when Wojciech turns in.
Yeah. I mean...
So it has to be that the...
It needs to be, obviously, I guess he protested turn 1 and not the last turn. But also you could argue, if there would be gravel...
Yeah. If there's gravel there, Wojciech's not getting the run. He probably doesn't finish on the podium because the cars behind was close. They've got the run through. Well, we await confirmation.
Yeah, so we knew that this could maybe play, comes into play because the drivers, you're allowed to basically have 3 cuts before you would get a restrictor, and then you would have less power for 1 entire lap. So you're getting penalized for cutting the corners, right? And this clearly is track limits. So
we saw in the last 2 laps, he did it twice.
He did it in the last lap as well, right?
The very last lap as well. Yeah. So is that what Jan's protesting? Hang on, he overtook me. He's that far off the track. Last lap when he's in front of me, he's that far off the track.
I don't know. I thought it was about turn 1.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Here is some track limits. This is
the last
on board
lap. This is the last lap then.
Yes.
This is the last lap.
So come through the penultimate. Poleshny again, look. There you go. Same as the penultimate lap. And I mean, look, we've seen in Formula One over the years, they've took track limits, and this year they seem to really be restricting it. But the rules state between the white lines, you've got to have 2 wheels. All 4 wheels cannot cross the white line. Not only has he crossed the white line, he's crossed the curb, he's crossed the AstroTurf. He's pretty much, he's left Barcelona. He's nearly in Madrid there.
Why do that when you're already in the lead? Why do that when you're in the lead?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
So, yeah. I can't... if Jan has protested turn 1, I don't think nothing will come of that because I think that Poleshny was ahead and had the corner. He was ahead.
Turn 1 for me.
For me, Jan has to be protesting these track limits. You cannot drive... Again, you cannot drive that. You can't...
Now it's a question whether race control is really looking at that. Because usually the game punishes you for going off, if you gain time.
Yeah.
So. But, I mean, usually you don't do it on purpose. This was clearly on purpose. So
the thing
I don't know how they...
When you say you don't do track limits on purpose, you don't do track limits on purpose once.
Yeah.
And if you do it a second time, it might not be in the same area. It might be to a different part of the track, That's twice in a row. Same part of the track. I say he's near enough in Madrid.
I was just hoping that we have. I was just hoping that we have an easy afternoon, and now we have to think of many other
Let's see what happens when race control come onto their decision. Here's Holstein and Sanchez. Then Holstein dropped down to the back of the pack with this instance as well. So this is the one I want to see. So you see Sanchez attacking really the back of De Murbas and Poleshny. Oh, and Holstein just runs into him, and luckily for Sanchez, Marignon gives him the assist and straightens him up.
But that's clearly on Chris here. So he just basically ruined not only his race, but also Alejandro's there.
And that, like we said, for Alejandro there, that was a potential 8-point switcheroo in the championship, and he'd have come away today before penalties. I think it would have been 9 points to get, would have been closed. And if he'd not been hit by hand, would he have got Sinan? Would he have got Wojciech?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Christoph was also in the mix. He was around what, P6, P5?
Well, that was, so I believe for 5th or 6th, yeah. 5th and 6th, I think that fight was. So, again, we've seen some driver errors, but again, at the same time, we're just seeing them little late braking. And it comes to this stage of the season where, Fabio, you have to sort of think, why are we still seeing the same incident? Why aren't drivers being that bit more careful to brake a little bit early? Nobody wants to brake earlier. They all want to go flat out for as fast as they can. But why aren't we braking that a little bit earlier? In a train like that, why...
But this wasn't about braking early. It was in the middle of the corner, so he was basically on the gas.
Yeah, so why is he not braking early? Why is he not off the throttle? Why too eager? We saw yesterday with Marignon, with Valverde and Torlaci. You go to turn 6, Valverde brakes early, patient, Torlaci goes a little deep, Valverde comes past. That's the way to do it. Brake a bit earlier, wait for your opportunity. We're still seeing similar incidents throughout the season.
Yeah. It's the same in F1, right?
Oh, yeah.
Things happen in the heat of the moment, but they shouldn't happen like this because you're ruining your own race and somebody else's. And, in the race league, you would expect that these things won't happen, but still they can, as we saw with many examples today. Yeah, it's motor racing in the end. You try to be as aggressive as possible. You want to gain time over your opponent, and sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes it works out well.
Yeah. Well, a few incidents for race control to look at. The podium slunder investigation. We have been told that Jan Teufel has protested Wojciech Pelezny, or has put a protest in against Wojciech Pelezny, should we say. The outcome of that, we await to find out. The decision of what he's protesting, we are unaware as well at the moment. So we await final confirmation, and hopefully it won't take as long as the Monza one. Hopefully we'll be done a bit earlier than that one, but we await to see.
I would be interested maybe if the producer can show us race control, actually. Maybe they're having a heated discussion already up there. So
either way,
I don't want to be in their shoes now, but I also don't want to be in Wojciech's shoes, because leaving the track like this twice in a row, who knows?
Okay, so we're being told that the discussion is potentially a 5-second penalty to Wojciech Pelezny.
But for what?
That's what we're being told. That's not confirmed.
But for turn 1 or for leaving the track?
We don't know. So that is what is being discussed by them gentlemen on screen now. We don't know if that is the case. We're aware that that is what is being discussed. The question is now, right, how close was the pack? Because Kevin Abey's probably going to get a penalty on Dominic Dedic. That demotes him from P4. Sinan Demirbas could be on for a P2 here.
He could be,
right?
Yeah.
Also then,
and
P5...
Pelezny would lose the podium.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Kevin Abey was 4th. He's probably going to get a penalty. Where was Marignon? He was 5th. Could Marignon get a podium?
I don't know. I would love to be in the discussions with these guys here as well in Munich, what they believe.
Yeah.
It's obviously not my decision. It's up to race control. They will decide that. Obviously, viewers see that, a guy leaving the track, and they will say, hey, come on, that's not fair, really. It's about, interpreting the rules and interpreting, how the game does punish you if you go off track. I just hope that nothing like this would happen now, because all of the 3 up there deserve to be where they are. They did a great race. This is, a bit of a bummer.
It is a bit of a bummer. Like Monza as well, with the pack being so close, does this help Smeedle and Sanchez maybe gain a few places? Or does this put, maybe a couple of cars in between Sanchez and Smeedle, giving Sanchez a few places and bringing that championship gap down even further?
Yeah, I mean, potentially, obviously, there will be penalties. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
We don't know how many. They will possibly, gain some additional points, but both of them, they're not happy at all with how the race panned out today. So they want to win, they want to end up on the podium. It was just not the track for them today. And next one out in Spa will be different for sure.
Next one out in Spa, where they had a fantastic fight last time around. So we have got Spa coming up on the 17th and 18th of November, I do believe it is. The qualification period will be open on the 6th
Dominic is still here.
I think it was Ciro running off earlier.
Oh, was it Ciro?
I think so. It might be getting ready to pack last-minute preparation before his flight tomorrow.
At least the smile is back on Dominic's face here.
Yeah.
So
with Christoph and Jan there. It's going to be an interesting one. Spa, though, qualification period opens for the Challenger League the 6th of November, I do believe it is. The qualification period will open till the 15th of November. So if you want to get involved here at Racing Unleashed and fancy your chances in the Challenger League, head down to one of our racing lounges in Calm, Munich, Zurich Airport, or Madrid and Kemptol, and try and qualify if you can for the Challenger League at Spa, which is, I believe, the 17th and 18th of November, as we head into the back end of the season. A quick turnaround for that, and then another quick turnaround because we're back at the beginning of December for the one track I am looking forward to, which is Laguna Seca. Battle for Glory will be in January. Laguna Seca, I'm really looking forward to. Right.
Okay, so we have a decision, we heard.
We've got a decision made.
There you go.
That is your decision. Jan Teufel, race winner then. So he takes the pole, he takes the race win. Sinan de Merbas promoted to P2. Enrique Marion promoted to P3. That will help him in his championship for that 3rd and 4th place in the championship fight for Marion. So another podium in Madrid again. Sinan de Merbas promoted to P2 and Kemptol race winners once again.
A podium in each lounge?
A podium in each lounge. And it will be interesting to find out what the penalty was for. Was it for turn 1? Was it for the track limits?
Yeah, that we still need to know from race control. But, I mean, I feel very happy for all of them on the podium now. I'm not really happy how it basically ended now. Because, you know, it was great racing. We had, you know, a guy coming from P10 ending up, you know, or basically making the move into turn 1, last lap, made it stick. Obviously, there was a connection. Won the race, and potentially he lost that victory now to, you know, going wide twice or I don't know many times in the race, because we don't know whether he did it in every lap or just in those 2. So for me, if that's the penalty reason, it's on him, and it's a stupid thing to do, really, because he had it in his bag, basically, the victory.
And again, for me, it can't be to do with turn 1 because of the fact he was ahead going into turn 1 when he passed Jean. So has to be the track limits. Podium ceremony time, though. And Madrid, it's not the race win they would have hoped for, but it is another podium nonetheless. For Enrique Marion, then, who is going to come to the 3rd step on the podium. It is going to be P3 for him today. And 3 podiums for Madrid. This weekend, they can be very, very pleased with that. Enrique Marion, your P3 driver. Confetti comes over the top. Lovely big screen there for the flag.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Yeah. Well done, guys. And what a way to, you know, get the new lounge started in Madrid there. So well done, Enrique, and all of the team in Madrid. And we have a podium also in Munich.
New podium destination for Munich for Sinan de Merbas, who steps onto the podium. P2 for him today. A great result for Sinan. The confetti thrown over his head. And Sinan will be a very, very happy man with that. His best result of the season. No gardening gloves for that one, but I'm sure they'll take the pride on the shelf. And back to Kemptol, 2 pole positions. 2 race wins this weekend. Jan Teufel, race winner in Kemptol. He is the one who won today. I don't know who's more emotional, Yannick yesterday or him today. It looked like he was about ready to shed a tear or 2.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Yannick was in the position of winning races already plenty of times. Can wasn't. Can and I actually joined the Racer League together, and we were always fighting for like P6, P8, 9, stuff like this. And for him to actually win that race now, and with that comes a lot of prize money. He's a student, $3,500 US dollars
That'll help.
is a huge amount for him. So I guess he'll send me an invitation to his party tonight or tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that indeed. That is all we have time for today. Fabio, thank you for joining me once again. We will be back in 3 weeks' time for Spa. Good night. Oh, little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.